gosh, what position were you?
Left winger.
Who was your hero?
You little grass.
He's had your kicks on there.
He's proper threw me under the bus.
I don't know.
We went right to school like a bit of fools as our friendships soared. We go back to years and share so many beers and it's too many more. I'll always be around for when you're feeling down. I will lend a hand, and you can count on me whenever you're in need. You know I understand. This one goes out to my best friend.
Episode 4 of the Together We Are Strong podcast, and we're going to be doing Toddy's story today. But before we start to go to Toddy's story, which by the way has an 18 rating on it, is that right, Todd, or would you say 21?
Yeah, they should switch off after this, I reckon, mate.
So, because we've got quite a few kids watching, because we forgot last episode to mention the kids that have been putting in their amazing drawings of a world that they want to see or an inspirational message. So we'll get them on the screen now. We've got Annie Rose Parks, who's aged 4, and her message is no bombs. Brilliant, Annie. I've also got my granddaughters, Freya and Nuala. Our Freya's 11 next week. Nuala's 6. Our Nuala is made up that her granddad's a YouTuber. And they've done inspirational messages. Our Freya's, don't leave litter, stop violence, no bullying, stop deforestation. So, well in girls, and hello you too. Poppy Grant, who's age 6 as well, is she wants to see more flowers and trees in the world, and she wants people to be kinder to the world. Amazing message. Brilliant. Well done, Poppy. And also last week, I was at All Saints School in Anfield, and there was 60 of the kids there, year 6s, 4 groups of 15. It was amazing, really. Like, we done like a leadership workshop with them, and at the end we asked them to do an inspirational message, a powerful message, and we put some of them pictures up as well. But that was absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. Some of the messages from the kids are like inspirational as well. They're onto it, the kids. So well done, everyone.
Thank you very much, kids.
Thank you very much. So onwards with our episode 4, Todd. Your story, mate. Obviously, we've had my story, we've had Jill's story last week, which again went really well. If anyone hasn't seen them 2 previous stories and the introduction, it's well worth giving it a watch. Some powerful stuff, and I know for a fact a lot more powerful stuff's going to come out today, Todd, because you've had a bit of a wild ride, haven't you, mate? Yeah. And but definitely. You know, obviously you're here now, you're part of an hour for others. I know you're an inspirational lad who's been through it, but you've changed your life around, mate, and I know you've inspired a lot of people. So many people look up to you, so many people know who you are. The true Toddy's come out over the years, and you know, you're a credit to yourself with how far you've come, and I think a lot's going to come out today. There's a lot you've got on your chest, isn't there? There's a lot of, you know, and it is important to us to, you know, to sort of get across why we're here, how we're here at this stage of our life, isn't it? And
yeah, definitely. Why
we've, you know, the things that we've been through have brought us to this stage. So without further ado, Todd, where did it all start?
C4, so I'm from C4, and that's where I grew up, Kev. Football, manhunt and mischief, in that order. Brilliant. Best childhood ever, mate. I feel blessed for the childhood that I have, mate, that I had. Football fanatic, crazy football fanatic. We had like the Boise, we had Friday footy, craft club, just loads of boss things going on, Kev, and just ton of firms of kids playing out. So the base for like manhunt and hide and seek was the square where my ma still lives now. So that was the base for everything. So that's where all the kids congregated. Out of like Ashgrove, out to like on Gladstone Road, Elm Gardens was where it was at. right on my ma's front doorstep. So, just boss Kev, brilliant childhood. I love where I'm from. We get a bit of a bad rap as well. You know what I mean? Anyone who's away from C4 thinks like, I don't know, just we get a bit of a bad rap, but I absolutely love where I'm from, mate. Just brilliant. Best childhood ever, Kev. Best memories. And
brilliant. It's a proper community, isn't it? I know you're really like passionate about C4, aren't you? And there's a lot of boss stuff going on, isn't there, in the area? There is a lot of pride in the area and stuff like that. I know when I was growing up, I was from the South Ends, and C4 just used to be a name on the front of the 61 bus. Didn't have a clue where it was, to be honest.
No one ever knew, you know, Kev.
I used to think it was the other end of the earth or something, and then all of a sudden, like, as you get older, you end up in these places, don't you? But that's where you were hanging around anyway when you were a kid. I have to ask as well, where did Toddy come from? Because you're actually John Paul Ainsko, aren't you?
Johnny Todd. So my ma started it, when I was a proper kid, and it just stuck. Yeah, I didn't even know who Johnny Todd was. I know there's a boozer in
you named it.
But I don't even know what was he.
Oh, I haven't got it.
I know there was a Sweeney Todd, weren't there? Like,
do you know what? I should know this, I think. Was he
I don't know where
was he in the Western or something?
I don't know what, like, where it originates from, but that's where the nickname come from, Johnny Todd, and then it just stuck.
So it was your ma that called you Toddy?
No one knows me, like, well, everyone who knows me know my name, like, but it's just I'm more known by my nickname, I feel like an idiot when I introduce myself, because, like...
You're just not John Paul Ainsko, you're Toddy, aren't you? So, but... So obviously that was the area you were from. What about your school life and that? Where did that all begin?
In the same area, obviously. Started the C junior school, best school ever, Kev. I loved that school, mate. Everything about it. One of the best teachers I ever had was in that school, called Miss Pike. Brilliant. She brought out the creativity in me. We used to have a lesson on a Friday called craft. It was called, and she'd put like a 1 to 10 of things that you can make and just get these junk boxes out. And I used to thrive, mate. I loved that lesson.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I used to hear her singing like R.E.M. songs, and I got onto R.E.M. the band through her, and that. She was just an unbelievable teacher, Kev, but the best teacher I've ever had, mate.
And how old were you then?
Bloody hell, I don't know, I reckon like 7, 8, 9s.
Wow, so that, like, the impact that teachers had.
An unbelievable impact.
And that shows, doesn't it, like, that the impact that we can have on kids' lives, doesn't it? For you to remember a teacher that brought the best side of you out when you were a kid, stuck with you all your life.
Yeah,
it's amazing that.
And our junior school, Kev, right? We had the smallest year ever. There was like 14 or 15 of us, but there was only 4 lads. So whatever we had to always merge with the year above.
Sorry, is this your class?
So my class, like our year in school, do you know what I mean? We had to merge with the year above. Yeah. So the year above might be like massive, but they'd have to split it in 2 and give half to us. Oh, because we were that small. There was only like 10 girls and 4 boys, or 11 girls and 4 boys, all the way through, you know what I mean? And then it was, when we got to year 6, we'd have to then merge with the year 5. Like,
so when you had your classes, how many were in the class?
So there was probably maybe 20, a bit more than 25 or something, but that's because they were from the other year. That got filtered into our class because we were that small. So but that school, Kev, was just unbelievable, mate. I loved it. So
you sound like, obviously, from, you know, everything was good, the area was good, the school life was good. Obviously going into junior school then, what happens in junior school and stuff like that?
Even in the junior school, Kev, like, there was me and David Lynch were great footballers when we were kids. And we got into the school team. We got in the team like 3 years. Like, what were we in? Year 2 or year 3, where you're meant to be like a higher age to get in the team. Yeah. We were in the team for years before it because we were that good with all the older kids.
The older
kids. With Liamel.
Oh yeah. Actually, is he the lad who won the Champions League medal?
No, Liamel, we know on Facebook, Liamel.
Oh God, sorry, I'm thinking about him.
His brother Adam was an unbelievable
No, because I just watched him play last Sunday in a semi-final. Adam, did he used to play for Liverpool?
Play for Liverpool, Adam, yeah.
Oh, so is that Lee's brother?
That's Lee's younger brother, yeah.
Right, yeah.
But Adam used to play with all like the older lads, you know what I mean? And he was absolutely class, Adam, brilliant. Yeah. But Lee's dad was our manager. Mark Hamill, so our school team was boss.
So you were into your footy and all that then at the time. Did you play Sunday League and that?
Yeah, so I got into a team, Kevin, called Crosby Stewart. So in this, I think it was like the 6 weeks holidays, they were running trials, but the letters are being given out to schools in Crosby. So I had no idea about it. But I was just this little rough kid who's a street footballer. but I was boss at footy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my ma had no car and I didn't know of any teams or anything like that. So one of my mates, when we were kids, John Bostock, his name was, he'd come back from a trial. It was like a summer's night, you know what I mean? And his mum pulled up and she said, there's like one, I think there was like 6 trials, you know what I mean, to get in this Crosby Stewart. And she said to me, I'll take you up next week, but it was the last one.
Yeah.
So I went up and got in the team. Like all the kids had like been gone for like the 6 weeks and I got right in. So I ended up playing for Crosby Stewart Sunday League and then I was leading goal scorer every year, Kev. It was just unbelievable. I loved football, mate. I was a fanatic.
So who was taking you to the footy?
So me mate's mum, Debbie Bostock, she had a car, so she took me up it was like the last trial for me to get in that, and then they used to run me up every Sunday then.
Boss, what position were you?
Left winger.
Who was your hero?
You little grass.
He's had your kicks on
He's proper threw me under the bus.
I don't know, I've never heard this before.
Alright, okay, so you're the dog, you can. Right, so I had a fucking
Ryan Giggs.
I had a
He's been waiting for 10 minutes for that. He's been like, footy.
That's all it says on that.
So I was obsessed with Ryan Giggs because I was a right footer, Kev, but I played on the left wing because I was like a flair player and I was skillful. I idolised him, mate. And it was like 92, 93.
You just come on the sheen, hadn't he?
Oh, he was on it, weren't he? But then he burst on it and then it was the start of the Premier League and all that. So we had all this like publicity, you know what I mean? And I loved him. I modelled my game on him. I loved him, mate. So I ended up a man for a year, like. It was heavy, mate. It was heavy.
And we call it a day here. We get another
Take that out,
That's why I had an 18 rating on it.
No, but I ended up, I was a man for a year, lad.
You supposed them.
Heavy, you know.
How old were you then?
I must have, let's just go back 1 year, right? I was born, right?
Alright, kid.
My ma had me in an Everton kit, yeah. From the start.
So you were going to say she had you in an headlock?
No. To get me in the Everton kit. So I was in an Everton kit when I was a kid, right? But I weren't that, so like I weren't a staunch fan or nothing, do you know what I mean? So then I swerved them to go to Liverpool. So my first ever Liverpool match was in 1992. I think, remember the Three Stripes, Carlsberg?
Yeah.
We won the FA Cup, didn't we?
Yeah.
Was that 92 at Souness?
92, yeah.
So that season was David McMahon, which was Anthony McMahon, who was my mate, his older brother. He took me to the Old Cop and sat on the bar and all that. I've always tried to trace back to what game it was, Kev, but I can't. I don't know. I just remember David James like booting the ball in the Cop and all that. So like I'd gone the match and I loved it. But obviously, then Ryan Giggs come on the scene as a proper turncoat, me, Kev. So then I had a little flirt with Man United for a year. But I jumped on it before they won the first thing, as well, you know, Kev. Before they won the first Premier League, I dived on it. And I'll never forget me half fellow was in the boozer in the Star of the Sea pub. And me and my mate were playing footy in the park and we were already little manx by then, right? So we went in the boozer. I don't know if you remember this game, but Man United played Sheff Wed. I don't know if it was 2-0 or 2-1 and Steve Bruce scored 2 headers late.
Yeah.
Well, he scored the first header, didn't he? And then he scored the second header.
Yeah, it was like to win the league, wasn't it?
Jumped on the pitch and all that, and then he went on a run then and won it, because they were like that with Aston Villa, weren't they?
Yeah.
So we were celebrating that in the park. Oh, proper
mate.
cringe, mate. But
Gary.
no, listen, I was a proper man for a year, I'm not asked. Right, so, and guess what minute he scored that header in, Kev?
96. Wow.
Listen it, mate. But yeah, I was a football fanatic, but Kev, I had kits. I had Arsenal kits, Leeds kits. I had all kits from here.
You just love footy.
Just, mate, I weren't like because I never had, like, in your story, Kev, you know, when you touched on, like, all your family are proper diehard. Yeah. Your Al fella and your Jason, John and all them. I didn't have that. So I didn't have, like, a match going dad, and I had no link to the game. My mates, who I was proper mates when I was a kid, they were Everton fans and they went to games, so I used to go and watch Everton.
I was the exact same.
I'd been to Goodison 20 times.
Do you know when I was because I was that mad of a Reds when I was like 7, 8, 9, I used to hunt for kids like you to turn to us. I turned loads of Everton fans to be Liverpool fans, like, and to this day they thank me, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I weren't. My route to Liverpool FC, mate, it wasn't like I didn't have that like the match going parent, you know what I mean, or like the older brother. It was just
you just love footy.
Oh, Kev, I was fanatic. Even my room would be full of posters like Dean Saunders and an Aston Villa kit and all that. Just football. I just loved football. I was obsessed with it, mate. Yeah. But then So then we went on a trip to Coniston, our little primary school, and I decided before I went, that's it, I'm fucking spewing Man United, they're done. And I come back home from that trip, I'll never forget, Kevin, my ma had decorated me bedroom, Liverpool, all wallpaper, bedspread and all that. I was buzzing, mate. And then that was me then, Liverpool.
Well done.
Proper turncoat, like.
So, how old are you now? So
I'm 38, but then when
sorry, I mean back then.
Oh, sorry, when I was a kid.
How old are we then, around 93? What
is it when you leave primary school? What, year 11?
Yeah, 10, 11 you leave and then
you
you turn 11.
So what was life like at home and all stuff like that?
Sound, Kev, honestly, everything was sound. 2 hard-working parents. My ma, like, she was a caretaker, cleaner, just all different jobs like that. Then she worked in the old people's home where my nan lived, right opposite our house. My dad was a window cleaner.
Was he, yeah?
Yeah, so just 2 hard-working parents. My dad had my old fella had kids before he got with my mum.
Yeah.
So when I was born, my dad was 43.
Right.
So he was older, you know what I mean? So we'd had like two boys and a girl. So I've got 2 stepbrothers and 2 stepsisters. We haven't fell out, but there hasn't really been a relationship there. But kind of like reconnected on Facebook with my older stepbrother, Philip, and it's been nice, you know what I mean?
That's
having
good,
a catch up and that, yeah. But
yeah.
So I was 10, 11. We come back from that trip. I think that was in the last year. And then I went up to secondary school then.
And what was that like? What secondary school were you in?
I went to St Wilfrid's. So, like I said,
I've never heard of all these places.
Yeah, well, this is at the bottom of Hawthorne. It's just been knocked down now by the big Tesco. So when I went to St Wilfrid's, Kev, bearing in mind I was in the smallest year in the world, I was the only lad that went to Wilfrid's on my own.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I went to Wilfrid's on my own, and I think 3 of the girls come with me out of our year. Everyone else went to Seeky Art.
And what did that feel like, obviously being a little bit isolated? And
The thing is, Kev, I forgot to mention as well, I played for Crosby District.
Yeah.
So there was an A and a B team, but I played for the B team. So playing for that, it felt like you were playing for England, because all the kids out of the schools in Sefton, all the best players played for this Crosby District. So when I was playing for that team, I was mixing with all the kids from all different schools. So when I went to school, I wasn't like dead friendly and mates with them, but I knew a load of faces. Yeah. But then when I've gone up on my own, it's been, mate, it was heavy. But my sister was like 3 years above, and the lads who were said, like Anthony McMahon, who I went to loads of Everton matches where he was in a couple of years above, and you lads a few years older. But like on the first day when I went in, Kev, I was just on my own, you know what I mean? I was just, it was a nightmare. And then I'll never forget, on my first day, I was sitting on my own on a table, nailing me dinner, and a lad's come up to my table, and I thought, there we go, yeah. You know what I felt like? I felt like I was going to come over and eat me cake or something, or like I was in jail, vulnerable and that. And he's come over, and he's gone, "You all right, lad?" And I went, "Yeah." He went, "Come and sit with us, mate."
Boss.
And he took me, and you know, he took me from that table to sit with all the lads. His name, Richie Peters, me mate. Yeah. That's who's going to guide us on Snowdon.
Oh,
boss. Yeah.
So you've known him that long,
he just come up to me, you know what I mean, and just said, "Yeah, come and sit with us." And I think he come from Queen of Peace, so he had like 6 or 7 mates on a table. And you know, boss, you know, Kev, a lovely gesture, mate.
And another thing, like I've just said about that teacher, this is something I always say to our Liam now. It said, you will always be remembered all your life for how you treat people now. It'll stick forever.
People remember how you made them feel.
They do, and you know, you'll remember that forever, that lad, you know, and you do get remembered if you're a bit of a divvy, or you know, you're a bully, or and it'll stick with you forever. People will remember you for being like that, won't they? Yeah. And it's, you know, it's hard to turn it around, isn't it? So,
Kev, it was so nice, you know. It was just and it's nothing to do, is it? It's nothing to do, and you know, we didn't have to do it. And I just thought how nice, and we ended up like proper mates. He's still my mate now. We're like proper tight mates through school on the back of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Powerful, that boss. Yeah.
So I went into secondary school, Kev. So that's me in year 7. So what happened was, like I say, everything's sound, everything's great at home. Boss, loving the football, playing for all football teams. Everything's great. And then my dad started getting sick, mate, towards Christmas of 1995. Like, I think I was going to Aussie, like, I don't know if it was November, December. But he was getting sick, but I was getting protected from that. Yeah. So I didn't know the ins and outs of exactly what was going on.
How old are you now?
12. Yeah. So I remember just going to Versackley Hospital in taxis with my ma and seeing him, but you're not on it, you know what I mean? You don't get it. And then I remember, like, it was creeping up to Christmas, and I was in maths, and you know, sometimes you get a free lesson, do a Christmas card for your family and all that, and I'd done one for my old fella, and I think that was the last, I went up to Ozzy, I gave him that, and then my mum pulled me to a side. I'll never forget it, Kev, in the living room. I was only, like I say, I was only 12, I was only a kid, and I'll never forget a word. She was sat on the couch, on the chair, and she just said, son, come here, and I was just stood in front of her, and she said, look, your dad's deteriorating bad.
So this is building up to Christmas 95 as well?
Christmas 95, yeah. She said, your dad's deteriorating bad. I didn't even know what that word meant, but I just knew what was going on. But like I say, when you're 12, you're not processing things, are you? You just... So she said, he's deteriorating bad. Get prepared for the worst, basically.
And so this is basically from you just like not really being told anything, just thinking your dad's an Aussie. All of a sudden, it's like a bolt out of the blue, isn't it?
Yeah, complete bolt out the blue, mate. And I'd never had any adversity at all in my life, mate. Everything had been sound, like I say, blessed childhood, everything boss, mate. Can I jump in really quick? Of course you can, mate.
Sorry, mate. So, were you being told such like life-changing information at the age of 12? As an adult now, do you look back and wish they told you differently or let you know from earlier on, kept you in the loop, or do you think they did the right thing by trying to protect you?
It's funny you asked that, you know, Gary, because for years and years I battled with that you've just said, mate, to be honest, and I used to get, I had resentment for a long time, and I used to get angry thinking like, why is this being hid from me? But I look back now and think, no, it was definitely the right thing that they done, you know what I mean? Yeah. 100 million%, because I stopped going to Aussie for a bit because my dad must have been looking terrible, you know what I mean? So I got protected from that, which I'm thankful for now. It's mad you say that, Gary, because I held on to that for years, you know, and I used to rage about it, and it used to beat me up bad. So no, I think they done the right thing, mate. So after my mum had said that to me, horrible, it's like Christmas Eve, I'm lying in bed and I dreamt it, and my mum walked in my bedroom and she just said, your dad's died, he's passed away, son. Wow. And I said, I know, because I dreamt it, man, and I don't know how I knew, but I knew. And she said, he's passed away.
It's this Christmas Eve night?
Christmas Eve day, like 8 o'clock in the morning or something, do you know what I mean? First thing, I was still in bed and that, and she's come and woke me up and told me, I think they had I don't know, because I don't know what happened. I'm assuming they've had the phone call to go, you know what I mean? And she's just woke me up and told me, and that whole day, Kev, I didn't even come out my bedroom, mate. And we had, like, going back to the kid, you know, the football fanatic, we'd planned this game of footy on the park. So my bedroom overlooks Seaforth Park. I could see everything in the park. And I was just watching my mates play footy all day. Wounded. Not wounded that I couldn't play football, I just had my whole world turned upside down, and I was just looking at them kids, just thinking, I wish I was them. Why, what have I done to deserve this? I couldn't take it in, Kev. I only went out the room for probably a piss and food. I stayed in my bedroom all day. 24 hours later,
sorry, can I just... I mean, when you think about Christmas Eve's like the highlight, a 12-year-old kid, that's the highlight of your year, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That excitement. Yeah. So then, like, obviously, to be this 12-year-old kid who's just being told that news, that is like, you know, it's hard enough to sort of grasp when you get older, but for a 12-year-old kid to try and make sense of that is just like...
It blew me out apart, Kev.
Because you can't find the words when you're 12, can you? You just, you know, it's the feelings, it's the energy going through your body, isn't it? Which is just, you can't express that into words, especially if it's being kept from you as well, which I'm not saying is wrong. That's just the way it was. So you've literally, in the space of like a couple of days or something, everything's just, your world's just been turned upside down, isn't it?
But as a 12-year-old, your body's changing, your hormones are up and down, you're learning how to deal with emotions and everything, so you're already on a roller coaster.
Exactly.
Even living a normal lifestyle without having life-changing news like that, do you know what I mean? So it's horrendous.
Yeah, and you know, you probably don't even like at that, I think the older you get, you worry, don't you, about people dying, and I think when you're that age, you don't think it's happening, do you? You can't even comprehend it, really.
I'll be honest with you, Kev. Do you know, like, I'd had that much of a, you know, when I grew up, right, we didn't have a load of everything. We weren't boosted or not, and my mum just done the best that she could, and my dad done the best that we could, and some kids had more than us, but we were just the same as every other kid on the estate, you know what I mean? But it was, I'd never had any adversity and stuff like that, but I felt like I'd had this blessed childhood, you know what I mean? Even with the lack of whatever, it was just still boss. And if I'd ever seen anyone, because there was kids in the area that had, like, I don't know, parents with addiction or something like that, and I used to think they were cursed or something, like, that's so foreign and so alien to me, that, like, even if someone's, like, parents had died, I'd be like, that's weird, that. I couldn't grasp stuff like that. That doesn't happen to me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then my mum's come in the bedroom and dropped that on me, and I was like, it just blew me head to pieces, Kev. And like I say, I stayed in the bedroom all day, and then the next day I woke up, and
which is Christmas Day.
Christmas Day, yeah. So Christmas Day, I'm in the living room with my sister, and I'm like, what should be the most joyous day for any kid? I'm like, my ma's broke, my sister's broke, I'm broke, I'm unwrapping presents, Kev, and I've gone from, like, it's like complete opposite ends of the spectrum, but it was horrible, you know. I can feel the feelings I had in that living room now, and it breaks me, mate, and it was so hard. And my main present was a bike, and I hadn't had a bike for years, because my mum used to say, you're not fucking taking that up the hall and wrecking the wallpaper and all that. And this year, my dad had got me a bike, and it was like, I couldn't wait for it. So, like, I've got this bike now, but my half fella's just died, you know what I mean? And I'm like, it was mad. So I think word must have got round, Kevin. I remember going out that morning, the mask on, you know what I mean, pretending nothing's happened, never going to speak to anyone, just bump, mask on my bike.
What can you say? What does a 12-year-old kid say?
You don't, and you go out, but you know people are tiptoeing around you and that, Kev. Yeah. It's not their fault, is it? You know what I mean? They don't know what to say
kids
either.
As well, innit?
Just kids, yeah. Kev, it was heavy, mate, and it just, the rug got pulled, mate, and my life had just got turned upside down. So what happened what Gary just said, which was a great point there, was I'd just gone, September, is it, you start secondary school, innit? Yeah. So I started secondary school in September, October, November, December, 3 months later, I'm you know, you're going through these changes. I know they're maybe a little bit later, but it's hard enough anyway. And then throw this on my toes. Now I've got to go back into school after the Christmas holidays, where everyone, like, you know, just speaking and that. I couldn't listen to the word dad for years and years and years. If anyone had mentioned dad, their dad, okay, it was like I was getting stabbed, mate. I was wounded. So I never spoke about nothing. So what I started doing, Kev, was...
You just literally you bottling everything up, aren't you?
Bottling everything up, mate. Yeah, so what I started doing, Kev, was I was bottling everything up, but I was still going out and playing with my mates. So I'd be going out and playing footy and doing whatever, and then I'd come in the house, swerve the living room, straight up the stairs, bedroom door shut, bang, get my head down, school, boom, out, whatever, and just I avoided the living room like the plague, mate, because that's where you got to speak about it, innit?
You just couldn't find the sort of words to speak to your man about it.
Is it just speaking about it, or is it because you had memories your half fella sat in there as well?
It was just too painful to even go there, mate. It was like my world had been completely turned upside down, and I didn't want to speak about that. I didn't want to speak about it. I had no knowledge or no education on how to deal with this stuff. You know what I mean? Nothing at all. So I just shut myself off from, not the world, from my house, you know what I mean? And went behind the bedroom door and cried myself to sleep for years, basically. But going out and still putting the mask on with my mates playing and all that.
Did your mates ever ask you the question, or was it just...
No, it was never like a sit-down conversation, you know what I mean? But they were always... They knew, you know what I mean? I don't know whether they just knew not to go there with me. I don't know. It was just...
I mean, you know, your mates must have noticed the change in you. Like, you're probably a different kid from that kid who's been playing footy, who's flying, who's loving the world. You must have shown to everyone around you.
It was mad though, you know, Kev, because I could blend it. I could blend it outside.
Yeah.
If I did something and it hurt me, I'd bottle it up.
Yeah. And
I wouldn't speak about it, you know what I mean? I don't know whether they'd get onto that, but I was still like the same kid at this point, you know what I mean? It hadn't like had this crazy effect on me. It just hurt. So, a couple of months later, this is the first angel that come into my life, mate, in 1996. Don't even know how this got set up, and I don't even want to ask because it's just magic to me, you know what I mean, what happened. In 1996, my uncle is married into a family. The Prudens lived over the road, so I'm mates with them, Sam, Kevin and Boo. Little Boo was me mate. He was the youngest one, but I was mates with Kevin and Sam as well. So their mum, Barbara, his sister Brenda was married to my uncle Peter. So we've got that little close connection. So Barbara's brother, Stanley Wildman, somehow, I don't know how this has been put together, because I was spending a lot of time in Boo's, William Pruden's house, you know what I mean? I was spending a lot of time there after this happened. So I don't know whether how this has come about, but Stanley had ended up saying to me, look, I want to take you to the match. But the Everton match, he was a staunch Evertonian, you know what I mean? Boss, lovely fella. Me, football fanatic. I'm not asked, Kev, I'm going to the match, you know what I mean? Yeah. So he picked me up. He took me to like 4 Everton matches. But what he used to do is to pull up on a little blue L-Reg Aston and that. And he'd get me in. And then sometimes he'd pick his mates up. But before he got to his mates, I didn't know what he was doing at the time. He's proper speaking to me, Kev. Yeah. And he's saying, he's just talking to me. Just being a proper nice fella. And he said, I lost my dad, you know. Like, speaking to me like that, you know what I mean? And I can see now what he was doing. But I weren't aware at the time. And we get the ground, Goodison, and he buy me a little Everton Benny hat. Do you want a badge, lad? Yeah, bang. I put my badge on me hat because I weren't asked about. I was just love footy, Kev. I weren't asked about anything Liverpool. It was nonsense, do you know what I mean? He took me to 4 Everton matches, mate. On the 4th game, he took me into the club store and bought me the Everton kit, and then with the Danker kit. Yeah. He went, what do you want on the back? I ended up getting Duncan Ferguson. My whole Liverpool...
It's all coming out now.
The plot is thick in here.
Gone, lads. My whole Liverpool street thread is gone. Right, so I ended up getting Duncan Ferguson on the back. And I weren't asked, Kev, it was just a kit, and I love footy, mate. And it got to a point where I think 4 games I went to. I think Everton Leeds was the last one. They had that Thomas Brolin, remember him? And he come round, and it was must have been the end of the season, and he come round to me and said, look, he said, he knocked on me Mars, I'll never forget it, and he went, look, Johnny, he went, I'm not taking you to the match anymore because I can't convert you, can I? He said, you're going to be a red, aren't you, always? Because I wouldn't crack. I'd wear the kit and all that, you know what I mean? I was buzzing with it, and I'd love going to the game. He went, I can't crack you, can I? And I went, nah. And he went, right, I've got something for you. And he just walked to...
Wasn't the Wales kit, was it? The gigs on the back?
No, he walked to his boot, Kev, right? Opened his boot and come back with this Euro 96 Sabutio. And do you remember...
What a bosh fella.
Remember the fathead little footy things that you used to get? Yeah. The whole Liverpool squad? Yeah. So he bought me them and went, look, he was just, Kev.
What a bosh fella.
Just a nice, I couldn't believe. And you don't take in what he's done for you at the time. You're buzzing, do you know what I mean? You're thankful, but you don't understand what he's done.
They're the seeds he was planting at the time.
1996, he planted them seeds in me, mate. And like I say, I'm cracking on, still playing football, doing whatever. November 1996 now, after Euro 96, where I live on the square, well, where my ma lives on the square, Kev, the old people's home was there. There's 2 houses next door to me ma's, then a little road, then the old people's home, it's literally there, next, you know what I mean? Next door, but 2 to that was my dad's brother, Lol. He died. He was like a father figure to me when my dad went, Lol. He used to take me out in his little shithead Lada car and take me to Burbo Bank, and you know, I used to have a laugh with him and stuff like that. Him and my Arthur used to go for the pints all the time. So he was like the father figure to me at this time. Bang, 96, he's gone.
Was that just out the blue as well?
I think it was a heart attack with Lol. And I'm just like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on here? And from that point, Kev, I think, what am I in there, year 8 or whatever it was, there was 7 sets. I don't know whether your school had like sets or whatever. There was 7 sets, obviously 1 being the clever and 7 being, you know, and I was in set 2 for everything, so I was a pretty cleverish kid, you know what I mean? And then my outlook on life started to change, Kev. I started, like, I didn't speak about that. I was still playing football for teams, ended up signing for this team, Intercity, they were unbelievable.
What was your outlook? What was it then? What did it turn to?
it hadn't fully turned, but I was just angry. I was getting angry, mate, and playing for a couple of teams, signed for Intercity, then signed for Bootle Villa. Mick Robbo's out for the team with John Carragher and that. I was playing for them. But I'm playing for these teams, Kev, right? And I'm dealing with all this shit. Do you know what I mean? I've got all this inner turmoil going on, not knowing what's going on, but I'm blending it and putting a mask on and cracking on like I'm all right, but I'm not all right. So me nan, I absolutely adored me nan, my mum's mum. She had a stroke, she couldn't even speak, but we used to communicate. She was boss, used to go over and watch the lottery with her on a Saturday night. We'd play out on the square, she'd wave to us all, you know what I mean? I loved me nan, idolised me nan. 98, boom, gone.
In the space of 3 years.
We all lived right next to each other, Kev.
Yeah.
And in the space of 3 years, because my dad was December 95, Lol was November 96, and my nan was September, October 98. And I was just like, bang, 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 3 people who I idolised the most, you know what I mean? The closest to me, and I was like, heavy. It ripped me off, Kev, it ripped me clean off. So by the time my nan had died, it was like the World Cup then, at 98. My outlook on life had completely changed, Kev. I'd gone from this kid who was just a normal kid. And now I had this anger in me, mate. This resentment, bitterness, jealousy, mate, of other families. I was jealous. I was like, what have I done to deserve this? I'd be playing football for St Wilfrid's, mate, on my Sunday league teams, and I'd see people's fellas on the sideline, and I'd be crying inside, without physically crying. I'd be crying inside, seeing their dads there, and that, Kevin, it ripped me off. It was the hardest thing ever. Earlier on, my mum had gone everywhere with me, with Crosby District. I was a proper mummy's boy, Kev. Early days, I was a proper mummy's boy. It was like a boil on my ma's ass. I went everywhere with my mum. My mum taught me how to swim. My mum stood on every sideline for years with me. And then this young teenager that I was becoming, mate, was the total opposite of that.
Was it, did you, and obviously with you and your ma, you'd never really spoke at all about any of all this?
So I'm swerving the living room, aren't I?
Is it still going on for years, yeah?
This goes on for years. I'm swerving the living room, I'm up the stairs, because I don't have to speak about it, you know what I mean? Little did I know how detrimental that'd be to me going forward. I didn't know by burying this, it's got to come out, hasn't it? But it was coming out in school, Kev, and it's coming out in anger and outbursts. A couple of times, mate. I remember Mr. Dalton, he was a science teacher. He had a mad leg. Everyone used to call him peg leg. He had this mad leg and that. And he said something to me, and I couldn't handle public humiliation, me, Kev. I couldn't handle it. My worst fear, I couldn't handle it. And he said,
this since everything had happened, or even before? It was just...
I'd always been an overthinker. I'd always been a bit of a worrier, but not like this. Do you know what I mean? And he said something, and I can't even remember to this day what he said to me, you know. I don't know, but he shouted at me in front of people. And I just thought, you're getting it, you, mate. You're fucking getting it. And I couldn't let things go, Kev. And I thought, you cheeky bastard, you're getting it, mate. And I went and done his tyres at dinner time. And ended up getting fucking picked out in an IT parade by the dinner lady and all that. Like, it was just, I had this rage in me, mate. I flipped on one of the... So when that happened, I got called to the headmaster's office, and my ma got called up to school. So I'm sat in the headmaster's office, my mum's come in, he's piped up, and I've just told him to fucking do one. Swearing at him, shouting at him and that. You know what I mean? I'm waiting to ask, Kev.
This is all of them years just coming out
all of this,
as that.
Yeah, all of this rage that I've bottled up, it's just coming out now, you know what I mean? And I just told him to fuck off. Stormed out, got excluded. Can't remember what that was like for a few days or whatever it was. The whole outlook on life had changed, Kev. Throughout school as well, I used to rob people's pens, right? So, and I'd sell them in different classes. So I'd like be in science, swipe a few pens, and then sell them in another lesson so I wouldn't get caught. So I always had this
bought pens?
I had this mad little hustle on, right? Yeah. But I was that, like, I got everyone else involved in it, Kev. So I was banking all the dough in my school bag. I had like a little pouch for my calculator. Probably getting like 2p or something, bang, putting it in. I got that many people on it. In the end, everyone's pen was just going missing. By the time I come to sharing the dough out, we had about 5p each, mate. You know what I mean? So I had about 20 people on it.
On Dragon's Den?
Yeah, and then I started selling cans of Coke in school, and they were 25p in a fruit shop on Bridge Road, and I used to take them, and our vendor was 50p, and I used to sell them for 40p. But I just bailed the school me at dinner time, at break time. I'd just dive over the fence straight to Bridge Road, stock up, bang, sell them at PE, back. But I was just jumping out of school at dinner time and break time, and like I didn't give a fuck, Kev.
Yeah.
I weren't asked. I started slipping down in sets. It weren't that I was like, I just weren't bothered, mate. I weren't bothered. I started sagging school. I was selling these cans of Coke and that. Ended up spewing that. I was shoplifting. Now I'm shoplifting, Kev. I'm still in school, do you know what I mean? I'm 13, 14, and I'm shoplifting. I'm getting orders for people in school, deodorants and all that, and aftershaves.
So and, again, it's coming out in behaviour now, isn't it?
It's coming out in behaviour, yeah. So I'll never forget this one day. It was like it wasn't a parents' evening, it was something like a record of achievement day. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but anyway, where you're not in school, but then your parent goes up throughout the day. But I don't think it was parents' evening, whatever it was. Me and my mates, two mates, Andrew Almond and John Donnelly, we were just mooching about, you know what I mean? We went, let's go to Strand now. So I've got loads of people on for these deodorants and that. So we went to TJ Users and just filled my waistband, mate, with all gear. Boom, out of there, gets to JJB Sports in the stand where it used to be, nicht, two undercover, like, whatever they are, you know, on the shop floor, nichters. So we've been nicht, but no, we were too young for the busies, do you know what I mean? So they've rang me ma. I've got in and had a belt off my mum and stuff like that. But what I used to do, Kev, is when I'd be in my bedroom, the airing cupboard was in my room, so I'd just like fly past me ma, take a crack off her, get to my bedroom door shut, and shut the airing cupboard door, and I could barricade myself in the room then. Do you know what I mean? So I'm robbing and stuff now. I remember one day being in what's it called, like cookery, and then you have like textiles or something like that. Yeah. I was in one of them lessons, and the teacher, her name was Miss Smearden. Something happened. She said something, and I've flipped. And she sent me out the class, and I've give it to her outside the class. I've fucking give it to her, mate. Flipped, called her everything. Just this rage, I don't know, it was just this rage, Kev. She got the earhead down and all that, and I was crying my eyes out with frustration and everything that I was going through, mate. I'd have these outbursts. I'd bottle it up. I wouldn't speak about nothing, and then I'd just erupt. Yeah. And she said to the earhead, and never forget this, she said, he needs help. This kid, he needs help. Someone needs to help this kid. He needs help. He's going to do some serious damage to someone one day. Because I was just having these little, you know, outbursts and stuff like that. So all the warning signs were there, Kev.
Did the school offer any help? Obviously, so you were literally just from losing your dad and then everything else that happened. It was just a case of going back into school and crack on with it.
Yeah, just crack on with it, mate. I always felt like I was a little one-man band from the age of 12. You know what I mean? Obviously, I still live with my mum, and my mum would do RT and stuff like that and look after us. But I always felt like a one-man band because I was behind that bedroom door, mate, bottling all this shit up, flipping on the wrong people. You know what I mean? And then all the warning signs were there, mate. And then the shoplifting got spewed, mate, and I'm selling drugs now.
At what age is this?
I remember selling me Knockout Kings on the PlayStation 1. I sold that, and Lennox Lewis was on the front. So it was either like 99 or 2015, I'm thinking. I'm 15 at the time, and I lent a score off me mate, and I went and got an half ounce for 30 quid. And then that was me. So I'm selling weed in school, you know what I mean?
Was this giving you, like, obviously all the shoplifting and that, was it sort of like comforting in some way? Is it easing some of the pain or something? Is it,
do you know what
keeping you busy, or just
is there a sense of purpose?
For me at that time, it was like venting. It was like I started aligning myself to like the naughtier kids, and I always felt like they were on the same page as me. We were probably on like a lower vibrational frequency, you know what I mean? Yeah. There was pain, trauma, you know, people had hard lives, and I started like aligning myself to them type of people because I loved it. Yeah. I loved being around them because I had something in common with them.
Yeah, because obviously, you know, you're seeing other kids whose dads are still there, who are thriving, and it's like, the jealousy, you're not going to be aligning to them, are you? You're starting to drift away, aren't you?
I'm starting to drift away, mate, and I was losing myself, mate, and a slow process, just, you know, and I'm selling the weed in school and stuff like that. By the time I'm 16, I'll never forget this. Our leavers assembly was like a Friday night. I had no aspirations at all, Kev. Nothing. My whole outlook on life. I was sagging all the time. I weren't asked, mate. And by the time I got to my leavers assembly, I remember thinking, all these blades getting a job and that with their uncle or their dad, or all these have got like jobs lined up, or they're going to college and all that. And I was earning money, you know what I mean? I was earning a few quid. And that night I was getting a bar of weed or something, and I had it sold that night. And that's the dickhead aspirations I had as a kid, Kev. This is how bad it got. Do you know what I mean? I'm 16 years of age. I'm going into this big wide fucking world, and they're my aspirations. Do you know what I mean? I never knew what I wanted to be. There was no guidance. But then
I was just going to say, sorry, through all of them years, looking back now with hindsight, what would have helped you? What could have broke that cycle?
An hour for others. 100 million%. 100 million%. Because now that I'm associated with an hour for others, and that's not a plug, that's the truth, because what I see now, Kev, is the way you're dealing with kids like me now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Girls especially as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there's girls, there's boys, yeah.
You know, I'd have loved an hour for others when I was a kid. I needed an hour for others when I was a kid. Or a positive male role model who could deal with me, who weren't scared. I needed a disciplinarian as well, Kev, because I was too rebellious.
Funnily enough, probably someone who's been through what you're going through, a fella who's you now to be doing this, yeah, exactly.
Well, even with the I know got to 16 then, but I'll just go back to just 3 years dead quick. 1997. This fella, my mum introduced me to this fella. Now, I think my mum had been seeing him or something like that. Now, I didn't know anything. Took us out for our dinner and that. Bought me a footy top and all that. Lovely fella, dead nice fella. That night we goes home, and he was just like in the living room, and he was speaking to me man. And I just looked through the gap at the door, and I just had this rage come over me, and I thought, cheeky cunt, you're here in my dad's house, this, like my mum and dad's house. What are you doing here after I'd just been out and spoilt me rotten, Kevin? I just turned like that. I just went up to my room and got a baseball bat. Honest to God, this is God's honest truth, this. And come in the living room and just went, time to go, you know, mate. You've got to go. And his face just, he couldn't believe it. I just turned like that, Kev. Wow. This rage in me, mate. And I just see him and I thought, he just buttered me up for all this, do you know what I mean? And I just pulled the bat on him, mate. And I said, you've got to go. And I sent him packing. And I look back and it breaks my heart now because, you know, you'd always want to see your mum happy, wouldn't you? I don't know what the setup, I don't know the situation, what it was or anything like that. But at that time, it weren't happening, mate. That's where I was at, Kev. I was so angry. And I just had this rage in me, mate, that I'd been bottling all these emotions up, not dealing with nothing, not speaking to anyone. And just, I was a volcano, mate. And it was always on the wrong people. Mate. So yeah, like I say, when I got to 16, I'd left school. That's me now, selling drugs, no job. A couple of months down the line, I ended up working in a garage for a year. It was pointless. Didn't learn nothing. So I'm still doing what I'm doing. I met my first girlfriend. She's recently, in the last couple of years, passed away, God bless her. Hannah, my first girlfriend, I met her. And that lasted a year. And we broke up. And my head come clean off. My head come clean off, mate. And with clarity, looking back now, I didn't know at the time it had brought all that loss back up in me. Because at 17, I was like, I still had that like rage and stuff in me, Kev, but I was still like, I was still getting on with my life. Yeah. I wasn't round the bend every day. I wasn't like proper depressed every single day. I'm still a kid, I'm still doing what I'm doing. But when I split up with her, my head fell off. And I feel like it brought all that old trauma back to the surface that I thought had buried. Yeah. You know, I'm talking with clarity now as a 38-year-old man. At this time, I don't know anything what's going on. I'm just cracking on. So my head fell off, mate. And when I say fell off, it fell off. And I was just
like you say, it's the loss again. It's the you know, what do we have to do? Like you're trying to, you've just found someone for the first time, girl, and then that's gone as well.
That went, and then and my head went, mate, and this is 2001 now, and between 2001 and 2002, Kev, I think I lived like 5 lives, mate. It was just insane. So I used to do what I was doing. I had a right few quid behind me. I was only a kid, 16, 17. I had a few bob and that. And at this point, mate, I started driving cars without a license, nothing, no provisional, nothing. Just loved driving cars, loved them. I ended up smashing about 10 cars up. I'd done 3 in a week. One of them was my mate's Peugeot 406. This is going to get mad, this, right? We were going, I was meant to pick him up at 6 o'clock the next morning. Do you ever remember a shop in town called Athleisure?
Yeah.
We were going to rob that.
Really, yeah.
So my mate was like, be at ours for 6 o'clock in the morning. He was getting on the bed in there.
So it's getting heavy at this,
getting heavy.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Just someone had pulled the plug, mate, and I was fucking going down, you know what I mean? So he was like, get to ours for 6 o'clock in the morning. She's got a load of boxes. All we have to do is pull up, bang, get them in the car and we're gone. And then with all the Paul and Shark stuff. It's like sound. So I'm driving around. I've got a new girlfriend at this time. This is like 2002. I'm just thinking I'm fucking the boy in this car. Driving around on the Hightown Benz. Puts the car in the fucking Hightown, in a ditch on the Benz. So we didn't get to, he went in a taxi. He had to get a taxi to do that. So I ended up fucking letting him down. Another car, mate. I ended up swapping 7 ounces of green. I swapped for this car. And I'd done a favour and give it to me mate. And my mate rang me and went, I didn't even make a bevy on it, didn't make no dough on it, I just give it to me mate, and he went, the head gasket's gone on this, you know. So I've rang the lad who I've got it off, and he's gone, oh, I'm out. Just proper stalled me, trying to bump me, you know what I mean? So he went, get on me tomorrow. So I've rang him again, he's gone, oh, look, I'll sort it out. And I thought, he's having the kicks off me here. I've been stung here. So I got 4 of my mates in the car, and I thought, I'm going to just destroy his car and then give him it back, the cheeky bastard. So I'm at the back of my Mars. I'm on Cambridge Road. This is all, I've only just left school, Kev. This is all going on, you know what I mean? I'm doing about 90 miles an hour over the flyover at the back of my Mars. I didn't even stop through one roundabout. It was just, them little mini roundabouts, just drove over it. Just flying over the hill. And I can see it now in slow motion, how it happened, Kev. I've seen the 53 come round the corner of the bus by C4 Community Centre, and it's called Crescent Road because it is a crescent. So as I've seen the bus come down the corner, I've lost it. I've lost the car. It's one of them V6 24 valve things like the Busy's had. It was rapid. And the arse end of it's kicked out. And I've got it back. And this is all happening in slow motion, this. I've got it back. And then as I've got it back that way, it's just gone, like, it's just turned to the left. And I've just took these railings, someone's front railings, clean out. But there was 2 like a lamppost and a street sign. And the car, I don't know how it's done it to this day, has gone front end into the railings, up in the air, bent round like the street sign and landed in between the street sign and a lamppost. If them in the back had hit that post, it was curtains. And I smashed that up and just bailed it. And I had the airbag went off and it burnt my wrist. My mate's head was stuck on the headrest behind me. Should have been dead. And we walked away from it, Kev. Another one. This is madness, mate. An Astra. Me, I drive any car. Bearing in mind, I'm getting nicked all the time driving now. Yeah. Getting nicked and getting banned. You know what I mean? But not asked. I'm in an Astra. Some kid from Bootle pulls up in it. He only wanted 60 quid for it. I'm glad I'll give you 60 quid, but I had no keys. But I went into really like rob cars. I used to just drive legit cars, but I weren't legit. But this had no keys. And so we've got 5'd up in this Astra. I was on C4 Road. I've come to by the Caradoc pub. I've turned left. I bought it for 60 quid. I was in it 5 minutes, Kev. I've turned left on to go up Derby Road. Yeah, I've got to the junction at Marsh Lane. As I got to the junction at Marsh Lane, it's like a busy Cavalier. You know, years ago now, V6 Cavaliers at the lights. I'd seen all those 5'd up in this Astra. So I just thought, I just need to get back to C4 and I'll just take chase, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm banned, so I'm not stopping. So I've just gone bang, I've bounced it at the lights and I flew back on myself by the docks, crashed into the roundabout in C4, got it back, flying now down Rimrose Road towards the Caribouza, and I've said to all these in the back, I'm bailing, I'm gone. I'm bailing this car, you know, and they've gone, go ahead, just do it. So I've jumped out as it's going, Kev, because I'm banned, I'm not stopping, do you know what I mean? So we've jumped out the car, and then the car's like, all the lads have jumped out the car, and the car's still going. And it's just rolling, like, it's a lamppost. Busies have chased them, I've got away, my mate's got away, 2 lads got nicked, they had the helicopter out and everything. This is all in the space of a year, this, Kev. This is all going on, why I've got all this trauma brought back up in the surface from all the years of my dad, my uncle, my nan, then this break-up. My ma was finding bin bags full of green in my bedroom. I had a phone, I'd built this phone up, Kev, from 15 years of age. I'd built this phone up that didn't stop ringing. It didn't stop ringing, mate. And I'd be all day, every day, out 7 days a week, eating chippies, going to see people. I had my ma bin bagging me, finding weed in the house. That's how disrespectful I was, you know what I mean? I had it in my ma's house. I've had my ma like trying to break my bedroom door down with me, with a foot on my bedroom door, answering the phone to people, yeah, get there, lad, I'll be there now. Like that with hands on scales and all, just chaos, madness.
Just like...
madness, Kev.
Like a sort of catastrophes happens in your mind and inside, isn't it?
But the mad thing is, that it sounds all mad, doesn't it? That was just normal.
From that day, from that Christmas day, wasn't it, when you were a kid? It's literally been...
5 years.
A builds up to that, hasn't it?
5 years. So 12 to 17, I'm 17 at this time. 17 at this time. 2002. So every day, the only way I can describe it, Kev, was like having a ruler, yeah, and bending it a little bit by bit, by bit, by bit, every day. It's going to break one day, innit, you know what I mean? I'm slowly bending it every day, all day, every day on my phone. Me ma bin bagging me, all the trauma undealt with, going through the break-up, smashing cars up left, right and centre, getting in debt. 2002, bang. The heaviest panic attack you could ever have in your life, mate. Went on for hours. Absolutely. I thought the rug got pulled in 95. Oh, this was another level, mate. 2002, my head went.
Where were you?
In the bedroom in my ma's. I had just took stress on and chaos for that long, Kev, without understanding how to deal with it, without understanding that you need to speak about things, just bottling everything up, not looking after myself, neglecting myself. Oh, all the car crashes, all that. And then bang, the heaviest panic attack, Kev, and that was, I couldn't come out of it. I'd never felt anything like it. My heart, I was convinced I had a heart attack, 100,000,000% convinced I had a heart attack. Never felt, it was like someone had grabbed my heart, Kev, and was twisting it.
Yeah.
I'm an 18-year-old kid. I've never felt anything like it in my life. It was that bad. I was having panic attacks all night. I went to Aussie the next day. So, go to Fazachley Hospital, me and my 2 mates. I'm in there, and I said, look, I've had a heart attack. I felt I couldn't, you know what I mean? I'm standing at the desk, and they ask, like, what's up with you? And I'm like looking at me, I'm just a kid. And I'm like, weird. So I guess goes through and that, and he hooks me up to all these like machines. Is it, what are they called? ECGs and all that, and I'm hooked up to all them. And they come back and they're like, you haven't had an heart attack, you know, you sound. And I'm like, nah, I've had an heart attack. Not knowing. It's a crazy anxiety attack. I'd never heard of anxiety, never heard of
years of trauma, just...
Years of trauma, undealt with, never spoke about it, never let it out, you know what I mean? Bottled everything up and bang, it just went. So, 1995 to 2002, 7 years, innit? Of just absolute madness. I'd left school in 2000, that's 16, Kev. I'm in this big wide world. 2 years later, my head's come clean off. I'm gone. I had panic attacks every day for 2 years. Every single day for 2 years, mate. It was crazy, and I thought I'd lost the plot.
Were you making sense of it, or was it like a bit of a wake up? But obviously, you were still young, but was there any part here at that time thinking, I've been through a lot of trauma here, or is it just literally just...
Kev, do you know what? I didn't, mate.
You're not putting 2 and 2...
No awareness, didn't put 2 and 2 together, genuinely. Like, I'm just giving you, like, bullet points here, aren't I?
Yeah.
you know, I'm living this every day. It's just not, I don't know. I didn't know what was going on. But I went to doctors and...
God, you just needed someone there, didn't you, to like speak to talk to like, to try and piece it all together, to make sense to you and stuff like that.
Me, yeah, and I went to doctors, I'm 18, and I can't tell them what I'm up to, can I? You know what I mean? I'm fucking bang at it by hours. What it is, I owe a right few quid out. I'm smashing cars up left, right and centre. I owe this, I owe that. My head's come clean off.
Love Ryan Giggs.
Yeah, I love Ryan Giggs, yeah. Section him. So the thing, what it was, Kev, is he turned around to me and said, "You've had an anxiety attack." Now, I'd never heard of anxiety. Didn't know what it was, do you know what I mean? And he said, "You've had a panic attack." So I was like, "Oh, it's sound." He said, "Here's some tablets. Come back in like 2 weeks or something and we'll speak again." But I've only told him a diluted story. I couldn't tell him everything. I've said, I split up with my birds, I've gone through a bit of madness, I've got no job, this, that. And he was just like, "You need to get a job, this, that." And I was like, 2 weeks, mate. I can't do 2 minutes to feeling the way I'm feeling. I'm having panic attacks in front of him.
Yeah.
I was gone, Kev. Goes back 2 weeks later, spewed the tablets. I don't know where that come from, Kev. I'm sure my mum drummed into me something about don't be taking tablets from when I was a kid. No tablets for headaches or nothing like that. I'm sure it would come from my mum. So they got legged them tablets, right? So I went back 2 weeks later, still the same. I'm worse now. I'm worse. He said, what I can do for you is...
So was it just constant, these panic attacks?
Every single day for 2 years, Kev. Wow. But at this point, I'm only 2 weeks in, you know what I mean? So it goes back and he goes, "I can get you counselling, but it's like one of them NHS ones, you know, where you're waiting for like, what is it, like 16 weeks or something madness like that. You had to wait for pure time." And I just looked at him, Kevin. I wanted to knock him clean out. And I thought, I can't even do 16 minutes, never mind weeks, whatever it was. I can't remember the exit was 6 weeks, whatever it was. I couldn't do 6 minutes feeling how I was feeling. But I made up that he'd done it, mate, because I went away from him and I thought, anxiety. Right, he said it was anxiety. He said it was a panic attack. So what I'd done, Kev, was I started going to Waterstones on Bold Street, it was then. I started buying books. So I'm this scally, you know what I mean? And then I'm going to Waterstones, graph phone on silent in my pocket, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm in Waterstones in the self-help section, looking for books on anxiety and books on panic attacks. So I just started educating myself, mate, and reading up on it. And it helped massively. It didn't cure nothing, because my life was chaos, Kev. My life was absolute chaos, still. But it just gave me that greater understanding of reading the book. And I was like, hang on a minute, that's me, that. I was reading, like, what happens. I was going, that's me. That's me. I was ticking every box. So I was like, all right, I've got like a panic disorder here. So, like I say, Kev, my life was still absolutely mad, crazy. So I weren't getting better, but I just had an understanding of what was going on. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that counselling come around, whatever it was, weeks later, I went to one session and spewed it. It was just atrocious. And I weren't ready for it, if I'm being honest. It just weren't for me. So I'm reading these books. So get to 2003, my life's still mad. 2003, I goes on a train on the 12th of July 2003, not knowing it. I've got mates who were in the Orange Lodge and I didn't know it was that day, you know what I mean? Didn't even put two and two together. Walked on a train, ounce and a half of weed on me, and 1,230 quid in my sock, and two busies are there. Nicked, straight away. Took me to Copy Lane, and I was just like, you bastard, I can't believe this, man. So I'm in Copy Lane. On the journey, they were just trying to buzz off me, you know what I mean? I had some front, no fear, not asked. They've gone back to my Mars, searched my Mars, couldn't find anything. When they've gone into my Mars, there's a note on the kitchen table saying, "John Paul, you don't live here, give me your key back," because I've been sneaking in my Mars house, you know what I mean? So they've gone, "You don't live in your Mars, do you?" And I went, "I fucking do." And he went, "You don't?" And I went, "I do." He went, "We've seen a note saying, give the key back, you don't live there. Where do you live?" I had landlord in my old Nokia, not even his name, landlord. I had a flat. And what I had in my flat, Kev, I had to get about 5 years for. So I'm doing a weekend now in Copy Lane, I'm sweating and I'm thinking, they're only going to switch this phone on. They're going to ring this landlord. They're going to go through my door and that's curtains. Goes to my ma's, didn't find anything, come back. I'm in the interview room and he goes, we've been to your ma's. There wasn't anything there, but your ma said you best get that pasting table back. I was like, fucking hell. Like, nice one, ma, you know what I mean? Not even asked. I was just like, what? So I'm in Copy Lane. It was like I got nicked on a Saturday, early Saturday, and I was there Sunday. And then you bailed Monday, go to court and get bailed Monday. But what happened, Kev, is they wouldn't give me a phone call, you know. You normally get a phone call, and they wouldn't give me one. I'm casing them. I need the phone call. I need the phone call. I need the phone call. They've told me that I didn't live in my ma's. I know I can't get bail without an address because I'm on it. I know, but you know, when you're a criminal and you're a kid, you just know the system inside out. You know what I mean? You know how it works. So I thought I need bail here. So I've got my phone call because I thought I can blag me ma's head in code because they listen, don't they? So I've got the phone call, and on Sunday night, Kev, someone answered the phone that shouldn't have been in my ma's. They've never been in my ma's house ever. They've never been there, and they answered the phone. And he went, I know what you need. Don't worry, you live here. Bang. And I was like, I was always getting protected, Kev. I was always getting protected, and I was praying. I was praying in the cell. I've always prayed, and I was like, speaking to my dad, but I knew I was lying. I was saying, just get me off with this and I'll change, get me off with this and I'll change. Yeah. And I was lying. I knew I was lying, you know what I mean? I was lying to myself, praying to God, praying to my dad and all that. But that protection's always been there. I've had so much protection. The car crash should have been dead, Kev. The lot of us. There, he answers the phone. He's never been in the house. Answered the phone. So I end up getting bail. So now I'm on bail. This is 2003. Another relationship that I'm in at this time. I'm still round the bend, anxiety, and now I've got this. I'm potentially going to jail now. I'm on bail for this. I've gone not guilty. I'm running a trial. I'm going to go in the Crown Court and run a trial, not guilty. I just had no fear, Kev. But I'm on bail. There's a chance I can go away. So the anxiety is kicking the shit out of me. Second angel comes into my life now. Linda Heighton. It was my ex-girl's auntie. She had a holistic therapy shop on Bridge Road where I used to buy me cans of Coke. And she's come into my life, mate, and she was like taking me out, Kev, and like for drives and counselling me, buying me this little rescue remedy for anxiety, speaking to me about spirituality. I'd never heard talk like this in my life. And she gave me a book by Louise Hay called The Power Is Within You. She gave me this book, and I'm reading books at the time. So I half had a little go, but because my life was just chaos, Kev, I never really proper looked at it. I had a little look and put it away.
Can I just stop you there? Isn't it mad that the people who are standing out during this journey are people who've just literally give you time, who just show that they care, and like, you know, it's literally just giving someone else a bit of time in their, you know, darkest, you know, just to know that, oh my God, people are there, they're trying to help me, and that stuck with you, you know, to this day. Like
96, and then this Lynn in 2003, and Kev, she went above and beyond, mate. And I wasn't the best version of myself in that relationship with her niece. I was a fucking cunt, you know what I mean? And she said, I can see the goodness in you, mate. And she was just an angel, mate. She was an angel. And she spoke to me about spirituality and gave me this book and just went above and beyond loads of times, though. Not just once, Kev. She was always there for me, mate. And I was just like blown away by it. Again, not really seeing what she's doing, but grateful, you know what I mean? But not, my life's chaos, Kev. I'm round the bend with anxiety. I can't proper appreciate and I can't grasp what she's doing for me. But now I can. Do you know what I mean? So 2003, got the court case coming up. So I've gone in the Crown Court, 2-day trial, gone in with my mate Jono, and got not guilty. So at that time, even though I was that hard-faced and that cheeky, Kev, I had British Transport Police on me fucking tick list. I thought I'm getting that dough back off them. So I got the dough back off them and everything. Creeping up to 2004, I'm getting nicked all the time, little possessions, driving while bans. I've been banned 3 times and caught driving while banned twice. the next time that I get it, I'm going to jail. I'm riddled in debt. Anxiety is ripping me apart. I'm destroyed. I'm giving people things that I shouldn't be giving them. They're letting me down. I'm getting deeper and deeper in debt. I'm trying to do what I do, Kev, but my head's gone. I'm not even operating like normal. I'm not even thinking rational. My head has completely fell off. I'm panic attacks every day. Crazy anxiety, depersonalisation, heavy shit going on in my head, Kev. I needed help. I was coming to like breaking point. It was already bad enough, but I was getting to the point where like I feel like there was no way back. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. 2003, I get to not guilty. Goes to I'm in debt now. I'm doing stupid things. I bought a van off me mate on County Road for 5 ton. I robbed Bolingo on rob plates. I'm driving it band, flying around that day. Gets me 2 mates in it. Flies up past Banks past Southport. Goes up there and sees a garden centre. Thought, right, I'm coming back tonight to get that. So he goes back in the night time. 3 van loads, all water features, like a one of each. Fills it up, bang, stash it in a farmer's field 3 times. So I thought, what we'll do is we'll just fly back to C4, stash it, come back up. So on rob plates, I was an idiot. I was an absolute clown. Coming back down the bypass with the first load of knockoff. And this V6 Vector's just come on me on the bypass and just followed us all the way. So I've said to the lad who's driving, I was driving in a day, he's driving in a night, he's band. Just clowns. And I've said, get to C4 and we'll do them on foot. Just get to C4, but we're miles away. Like, literally, by high time. They haven't pulled us, but they're following us all the way, Kev. Gets them all in, this other police car just come flying around the corner, boxed us in, jumped out with bats trying to smash the window, pulled us out the van, we've been nicked. So now I'm nicked on that. So I'm nicked for the burglary on the house, which I haven't done. I just bought the van, I just bought a rob van. But you get nicked for that because it's a rob van until that might have got squashed, you know what I mean? So I'm nicked for that, and then the robbery or whatever it was, I can't remember the charge. So I'm nicked for that now, 3 of us. And it's just like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Just absolute chaos, Kev. And then we're on bail for that. Going towards October 2004, goes back to answer bail. My mate, who was driving, had bailed to Southport and robbed me. I could have a million stories here, Kev, but I'll just try and run along the timeline. Sorry, mate. He'd bailed to Scotland and robbed me. So it was only me and my other mate who was in the back of the van going to answer this charge. So we get to Copy Lane, Liverpool playing in Europe that night on a Wednesday night. Gets to Copy Lane, buzzes the buzzer, says our name, he goes, NFA, no further action. To me mate, and I thought, oh, I'm getting it here. I'm getting stitched up for this. Gives me name in NFA, no further action. And I was like, how? We're nicked bang tonight in a rob van with pure rob gear in the back. How haven't we been charged? Goes the game, Liverpool drew 0-0, can't remember who it was against. Next morning, my mate's door goes in, who's in the back of the van. He'd been getting watched for a year. Really, yeah. They got like 3-4 years, a big gang of them. So I used to associate with them, they're my mates and that, but I never used to do what they done. Yeah. Whatever they done, I never used to get involved. I used to see them in the night and stuff like that. So that was the Thursday, I think, after the European Cup game, or the Wednesday, if it was the Tuesday, whatever it was. Gets to Saturday now, Kev. Now, I am at breaking point, mate. I've got all this madness going on.
How old are you here, Todd?
21.
Yeah.
Just turned 14th of October. Liverpool played, and then the 23rd of October, Liverpool played Charlton at home and beat them 2-0. I'm in this van, driving it, banned for 3. I've been banned 3 times, nicked twice. I'd had everything, Kev, community service, everything that they give you before you go to jail. If I get caught, I'm going to jail straight away. Goes the match, goes back to me mates after the match. In there, they're having a party, giving them all bits and whatever. So my bird rings me and goes, can you pick us up on the way home? I went, yeah, sound. So flies to a shop on C4 Road, Vendons, in this van, you know what I mean? All bits on me, all that I shouldn't have had in my pockets. I've flew up Bow Street, jumped out the van, gone in the shop. There was a bit of a queue in the shop, Kev, and someone was getting like a big shop in a corner shop, so I was in there for a while, do you know what I mean? They burn your head out, don't they? So then I've got my bits, got ciggies, all munchies and all stuff like that. And I've come out the shop, Kev, and as I've walked out the shop, there's a busy car outside the shop. My immediate thing was, shit, this in my pocket. So I've walked left up Ball Street where I parked the van's not there. But the van is outside the shop with the busies behind it, with the hazard lights on the van. So by the time I'm halfway up Ball Street, I'm trying to do some mental gymnastics. Like, what? How's my van there? How's my van there? Gets to me Mars, ringing me mate Jono. He'd just been at pitches with his bird. I said, do us a favour, come and grab us, mate, and take us back by the shop. I haven't got rid of what's in my pocket. Jumped in his car, gone to the shop shuts, the shutters are down now, no one's on C4th Road, just this white Ezzy van with the hazards on. Plot have gone. Gets in the van, switches the hazards off, put the engine on and put the lights on, and I seen the busy, he's just flicked their lights on, he was sitting further up the road. As I've gone to go left up Ball Street the way I walked home, I knew they were coming for me, to get me, and I knew where they were coming down Ball Street to block me in. So as they've come down Ball Street, mate, they've were bumper to bumper. So I've just jumped out the driver's seat and he jumped out the Pazzy Street trying to get me, and I just smoked him, you know what I mean? He's chasing me on foot now, the one in the Pazzy, up Ash Grove, right by me Mars. So I know where he's going in the car. They've got radios, haven't they? So I made him on the radio. He's in Ash Grove, he's heading towards Ellen Road, bum bum. So I've just crossed over the road and I'm running. I've got these bits on me. So as I'm running, I thought, these are going under a van. There's a big van at the end of the road. So put them under the van and then crossed back over. Got right by me Mars and jumped in some hedge in my uncle who died, in next door to his garden. I'm in this bush, mate, hiding, phone on silent. And I'm like, I'm going to jail. I've never been to jail before in my life, Kev. I'm going to jail. But I'm in this bush and some lad was having a joint on a step and it's my uncle's house where he died, so I know that house inside out. And I thought, I'm going to bail this bush and I'm going right through his front door. I'm going through him to the kitchen out the back. Everywhere I played manhunt. No one's catching me around here, you know what I mean? I went to make me move, Kev. At this point, there's all vans, dogs and everything. And he gone, he's here. And just swooped on me, got me, cuffed me. I'm at this point now, Kev, I'm like 20 grand in debt. I've lost the plot. I'm riddled in anxiety. I'm destroyed, Kev. And I'm cuffed. I'm just looking at me Mars front door. And you just have that moment and I'm like, where's this all? How's this ended up like this, man? How's that kid playing out on that square there? Now I'm nicked Saturday night. I've got to do me rip again for the weekend, and then I'll be in jail Monday afternoon after court. Yeah. So bang, straight to Bolton Monday. 4 months ago, but you do 2 months. So gets to Bolton, mate, and I got a job. I knew loads of lads in there, so they all sorted me all hand that when I got there. So it was sound when I got there. Ended up working in a workshop making wheelchairs. My mate's uncle Billy Pedder, some mad fella, boss. Funny, he got me in a workshop with them. So what I done, Kev, was I'd gone from absolute chaos from 2002 for 2 years. It was always chaos before that, but the anxiety was heavy. That was when I first had my panic attack in 2002. By 2004, I'm jailed. So I've gone in jail and I'm working. I'm getting woke up at like 6, 7 in the morning, whatever it was. I'm having my breakfast, I'm going to work, I'm coming back up, getting banged up for me dinner. They're unlocking me again, I'm going to work. And then I'm coming back, having me tea, an association, and then banged up and watching the soaps and that. And I had this normal life again. And I was like, as the weeks went by, it was only 8 weeks, but as the weeks went by, I started feeling boss, Kev.
It was like a break from that chaos.
I had no phone. My phone used to ring constant. I had no phone. I had no one casing me for money. No one could get hold of me. It was letters, you know what I mean? I had no drama. All your bills are paid for. Sounds selfish, doesn't it? Sounds terrible, but that's what, at that time, it was unbelievable, Kev. And I started like having
do you know what? I get that, what you're saying. Like, I know different thing, but I ended up in hospital about 5 years ago with me diverticulitis, like a bad flare-up. And I just felt like so calm because it was like there's nothing out there I can do.
Prisons are like hospitals, Kev. It's mad.
There's nothing you can do. You're there, and it's like there's the daily life is just like you're not part of that at that time.
Yeah, and it was just I was away, mate, and I noticed myself getting better, and I started having thoughts because my thoughts were that warped. My nervous system was shot to pieces, Kev. At this point, now I'm in there, and I'm just having normal thoughts the way I did when I was a kid. And I started getting this hunger and this cess back for life. I was still having the old panic attack, but it wasn't the way it was.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get out, Kev. I felt that good. I thought I could do a bit longer here, you know what I mean?
Would you say there was rehabilitation in there, or was it just
Nothing
you?
at all. It was self.
Just you?
Yeah, just self. I was took out the madness.
But imagine how much beneficial rehabilitation could have been for you then.
Imagine it. So, I'm feeling great, but I know I'm going out to a world of shit again.
Yeah.
I'm like 20 grand in debt, Kev. I'm up the wall. The worst time to go to jail is when you're not even prepared. You just get plucked off the street. You haven't prepared nothing. Just absolute madness, mate. There's a million stories that I'm missing out here. Madness. So my release date was the 24th of December, 2004.
Wow.
Right? Which was the 9th anniversary of my dad dying.
Yeah.
What's the 2 and 4?
The 2 and 4. 6.
And the 2004 6. It's weird. It's been there forever, Kev. Right? So I get released on Christmas Eve, mate. And I'm like, that's him protecting me 100,000,000%. It saved my life. That jail sentence saved my life. A poxy driving while banned sentence saved my life, Kev, because I was gone. And I mean gone. Completely lost the plot. And then what that done for me then, mate, was I did get back out to chaos and I relapsed with the panic attacks and I'm back up the wall and it's back to shit. But I had that seed of hope. I had that hope knowing that when I was in jail, I felt okay. There's hope here that I can overturn this mental illness, you know what I mean? Yeah. I had this reference point, I can do this, I can beat this. So, 2004, gets out, still riddled in debt, chipping away, trying to get it down, gets it like 2006.
Are you still reading, by the way, at this time? You still getting your books?
Sorry, yeah. I read The Power Is Within You, mate, and it blew me mind.
Was that then?
That was probably a year after Lynn gave me it. So like when I just got out of jail, like 2005 I read it, I think properly, and it blew me head off, mate. And I was just like, I'd never seen anything like this. I was just a scally kid, you know what I mean? And I was reading this book, and it was just unbelievable, Kev. This book changed my life, but not at that time. It was mad. I was just like, wow. This is so powerful, the way she was speaking, everything that she'd gone through and all. I'd never seen anything like it, Kev. She just used to read autobiographies, you know what I mean? Yeah. Of footy players and stuff like that. And this book was incredible. So getting to like 2006 at this point now, I was up to absolute madness, mate. Which I can't even say on here, madness. But I ended up earning a right few quid doing it. And I got all out of debt. I got to a point where I was just like, I'm out of my depth. This ain't for me. You know what I mean? I've done all this. I can't do what I'm doing here. I still had my thing, what I used to always do. I had to walk away from what I was doing in 2006, but I ended up ironing out like a 20 grand bill. Got out of debt, and I probably earned that myself. We were meant to be going to the World Cup in 2006, mate, and whatever I was up to, mate, it was just, I was just fuck the World Cup. I remember having a whatchamacallit, Kev, a car crash. And a fella admitting liability. And I didn't even want to go and get the cook and be asked. Flying, you know what I mean?
Really, yeah. Got
me out of debt, yeah. But I had a little moment where I was like, this ain't the life for me, mate. If I'm getting big jail here. And I just knew. From that point on, I wanted out, but I couldn't get out. No, I could get out. I didn't. You know what I mean? I was just doing things for me. Not that I couldn't get out, but I just had that little moment when I thought, nah, this ain't for me. So 2007, I signed up for Liverpool Community College and started a gas engineering course, gas fitting course. That's when I started going away with Liverpool properly in 2007. Best times of my life, mate, going away with Liverpool, boss. But I'm starting to do this gas course. It does a year. Everything's going great. I met the girl who I've got the kids to. Sophie, met her. So Sophie ended up getting pregnant with our Johnny at this time. So I'm on bail for that. November 2008, jailed again. So I'm back in jail now. But the mad thing was, everything seemed to be, going right. I was still a criminal and still doing things, but everything, I wasn't.
You knew,
mad. Yeah,
you knew it was starting to become a little bit clearer.
Little bit clearer. She's pregnant with me little lad. Got 7 months. I ended up doing 6 weeks, Kev. I had a right touch, mate, and then got tagged, and I got out of jail, mate. And I still had the chance to carry on with the gas fitting course, and they gave me a chance, but I'd fell a little bit behind. But at that time, I had a baby on the way, and I weren't thinking long term, mate. I needed money now, so I spewed the gas fitting course. This 2009, I was flying again, doing what I was doing. Gets to still going away with Liverpool, boss, everything, having a laugh and that. Got me little lad now, but I'm not being a great dad. You know what I mean? I'm going to a match, I'd go to the opening of a fucking crisp pack at me, Kev. I was doing everything but I was go home, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going to a match, doing this, going to gigs, going here, doing all this. Not only that, I'd be writ off the next day, Kev, and like, she'd be going out with our Johnny, and I should have been with them. I'd go to like another match, Kidderminster Wrexham, and not on my own and that, Kev.
Really?
Blackburn, Burnley, all mad games, Cardiff Leeds on me bill.
Really?
Yeah, just mad. I was just when I look back now, I'd become that unhappy in the relationship, mate, that I was just doing anything not to be at home.
Yeah,
It breaks
just making
me,
excuses
yeah,
not to be there.
It breaks me heart, mate. It breaks me heart, mate. And creeping up to like 2012, I got the Old Firm derby, the last one, before Rangers got potted, didn't they?
Yeah.
Went into what, administration or whatever. And Liverpool had Cardiff, was it, in the FA Cup final?
Yeah.
So I go...
The League Cup final, wasn't it?
No, we had, yes, and then, who was it that we had in the FA Cup?
What year?
2012.
God,
Everton in the semis for
Chelsea,
the FA Cup.
was it?
Andy Carroll's head there.
Chelsea beat us.
Might have been Chelsea, yeah, because we lost, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I'm in the FA Cup final, Kevin. I'm standing in Wembley. This is 2012, and I felt empty. And I'd followed Liverpool for time, you know what I mean? And I loved it. And I'm following Liverpool. I'm stood in Wembley. Kenny Dalglish's the manager. And I'm like, I felt empty. And I thought it had something to do with the Old Firm derby, but it didn't, because that was boss. So in 2012, I started changing. I started feeling different. And my relationship come to an end, and that was I want to go into this, but I can't, because I owe me kids it. I owe me kids this story, and I don't want them to hear it on YouTube. I'd love to go right into this now because it's got a lot in it, but I can't because I owe them it, and I don't want them finding out second hand, you know what I mean? I owe it to them, but I destroyed the relationship, mate. Things have come to an end, and I ballsed it up, basically. So 2013, she fell pregnant just towards the end of our relationship with our Poppy. Our Johnny was born 13th of June 2009, our Poppy 29th of May 2013. She was born, and about 2 months later, I'm gone. I'm gone out of her life, mate. Not out of her life, sorry, out of the relationship.
Yeah.
And it destroyed our little Johnny. He was 4 at the time. So 2013, Kev, there's a lot on this that I'm skipping over, mate, but what I will say is the girl who I had the kids to, her mum and dad were unbelievable to me. They were like my parents and treated me like my parent, treated me like their kid, proper looked after me. But what happened, Kev, was I felt that I'd lost myself. I'd sold all my furniture. I'd sold all my furniture to move in with it. We lived together. We had a row. She moved like next door to Mars. I sold all my bits to move in with her, so I had nothing then. And then the relationship ended. So then I had nothing because I'm a dickhead. You know what I mean? And I destroyed the relationship. So I had everything at one point, and I was going to match and doing this and doing that. I had that family support. I did feel happy at times, Kev, but I think it was just a happiness because my life had been that shit. I'd accepted this form of happiness that was well better than before, but I wasn't truly happy.
Do you think there's a bit of going on with you because the rug had been pulled from under you so many times? It was like right before it gets pulled from me, I'm going to pull it myself.
Definitely. Self-sabotage, mate.
Yeah.
100,000,000%.
This is going too good, I'm going to pull the rug.
Definitely, mate.
Because it's going to happen anyway.
Definitely, 100,000,000%, Kev. Yeah, you've nailed it. I feel like every relationship that I've been in, Kev, I feel like there's been a bit of a commitment fear from me, because if I commit, it's going to die on me, auntie. I think that's been in the
still
subconscious.
from your alpha from that day. It's
if
just...
I get too close, you're going to hurt me.
Yeah.
So I'll fucking get 1-0 before you hurt me.
Yeah.
I think that's the dickhead reasoning in me. Do you know what I mean? But all self-sabotage comes from like a positive intent, Kev, because it's the pain and pleasure thing with your brain, mate. So my self-sabotage, my brain, who's against me anyway, would link commitment to fear.
Yeah.
Would link commitment to pain. Because if I commit, I'm getting hurt, aren't I?
Yeah.
So it's seeking pleasure. So it's like, just destroy this now so you can get away.
Yeah.
That's what I reckon's gone on, Kev.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. So that definitely, I've always self-sabotaged, I think. So 2013, I moved out the, this is where it goes mad.
What year is this, sorry?
2013 now. So 2013, I moved out of my family home, and I had some house in Walton, some fucking shithole with nothing. I had nothing at all. Didn't have a bed, didn't have a telly, and I'm in this house, mate. And I'm just like, I had everything. I had the family, my little daughter's just been born, and now I've got nothing. I'm in this house, man, with nothing. And that was hard. That was so hard, mate. And it got to a point where, like, I was just like, I hated myself. But I was like hating on other people secretly, looking at them thriving in life and doing what they're doing and going here and going there. And I was hating on them, but I hated me, really, Kev.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm sitting there every night. I didn't have a telly, but I had a BlackBerry phone. And on this BlackBerry, you used to be able to get music on a thing called Toddy. It's like a Spotify, but a snide one, you know what I mean? You get free, whatever. But I used to get seminars. So I'm soul searching now, big time. You know, I'm sitting on my stairs, I haven't even got a couch. I'm on a BlackBerry and I'm soul searching to death. And I comes across Tony Robbins. And I'm listening to Tony Robbins and all that. And I find out his mentor is Jim Rohn. So like I'm listening to Jim Rohn seminars on this thing, and I've got an A4 pad, and I'm just taking notes, listening all the time, headphones, just writing notes upon notes upon notes of laws of this universe and stuff like that. And I'm like, I've never been, I'd gone from like not really being spiritual, do you know what I mean, to like just this information, and I'm like, what's this?
Yeah.
What's this? And now I'm on my own, there's no telly, there's no distraction, and that went on for 6 months, Kev. Every night just writing stuff down. But I had a proper relapse with mental health as well, because the reality of what I thought my life would be when I broke the relationship just wasn't that. The reality was, I'm in a shithead house in Walton. I haven't got a carrot. I've got nothing. I'm broken, fully relapsed with the mental health, mate. And it was the hardest. The mental health for 2002, that breakdown then was probably harder than this, but this was like right up there, you know what I mean? It starts coming back, all the anxiety, the panic attacks coming back, the depression, they going on hand in hand, anxiety and depression, the realisation that I've got a little baby girl there now. I was always in the kids' lives still, I still had the kids on me set days and stuff like that, but I was just broken, Kev. I was absolutely broken.
It's a game changer when kids come along, isn't it?
Mate.
It's like it is literally an awakening, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
An awakening, and I was going through one and didn't know at the time, Kev. From standing in Wembley in 2012, I should have been on cloud 9. FA Cup final, Kenny Dalglish, felt empty.
Yeah.
I got nicked off Fulham away. That's another story. Never went back to match. 2013, my circumstances changed. I'm going through this awakening. So I remember just being at an all-time low one day, and it was towards the end, September 2013 it was, and my mate Jack, funny as fuck, proper boss lad, boss energy, someone who you want to be around when you feel down, just make you howl, do you know what I mean? But he was working with me little mate Shuley, know Shuley, don't you? So they're working by Crosby Bats, and So I've rang him and said, because I'm working on my own all day, every day, and all I'm doing is thinking, you know, I'm just going round the bend. So I went, where are you, lad? He went, I'm by Crosby Bats, give me the address. So I went, go ahead, I'll fly down there now. It's like a lovely summer day. September, like a nice sunny day. Gets to their job, Kev, and I'm just having a crack with them and having a laugh. They automatically made me feel better. They were buzzing off each other and having a scream and that. So Jack goes to me, fucking chip in, will you lazy bastard, like, go and throw a few things in the skip and all that. Here's a few bags of rubble. So I goes, go ahead, sound, yeah. So it takes me first bag down, Kev, and just goes bang and throws in the skip. And in the skip was an A4 pad, a brand spanking new A4 pad of line paper. Now I write my window cleaning round down on these, I have a pad and I write my window cleaning round down on it. So I've swooped it. So I thought, put that in my van, put it in the van, cracked on, done a day's work with them, felt boss, had a laugh, gets in my van after work, about 5 o'clock, just looks at this pad, and acting as a bookmark, but it wasn't a bookmark, it was a piece of paper slotted inside this pad. So when I've opened the pad, it's opened on that page, and it's here now. I brought it here to show you. I'll have to send you the picture of that to throw up, guys, yeah? So it says on it, every man and woman should spend some of his time and energy in the service of others. This is a debt that we carry for enjoying the comforts and privileges that God has so kindly given us. The debt should be cleared by serving those brothers and sisters who have been deprived of comforts and privileges by individuals, by nature, or by society. Donating money alone is not adequate. You should devote your thoughts, your time, and actions for them. Manual service is a first step towards a virtuous life. It teaches you how to be magnanimous. Selfless service is the basis of all religion. A sound man's heart is not shut within itself, but it's always open to other people's hearts. If I am true enough, I feel the heartbeats of others above my own.
Wow.
I was that in the skip,
Powerful. Wow. At that time in your life, just
at that time in my life, right? That's in a skip, in a A4 pad that I need for me window cleaning round. I've opened and it's opened on that.
Mad.
And I'm just like,
there's so much more there than we even can comprehend, isn't there?
So much more, Kev. But like, because I was at an all-time low and I've had a bit of a relapse with the mental health, I've been aware that's a message, but I've just put it on the back burner, you know what I mean? Put it away. I've always kept it though, kept it in a little pad. So 2014 now, I moved house and I'm living in Fasach and I'm with this girl and I'm waking up in the middle of the night and I'm saying, like, bearing in mind, Kev, I've seen this, but I haven't took no notice really of it. I've just put it away, you know what I mean? And I'm saying to her, I need to go and help homeless people. I don't know where this urge come from, Kev. I don't know where it come from.
I think this is around the time I met you. I probably met you like a year before or maybe around this time, wasn't it? Because that was exactly around the same time I had my idea for this, wasn't it?
Exactly,
2013, yeah. And it was like, we were posting very similar stuff, deep
mate.
stuff, where we were like, we seemed to like had this awakening around the same time, didn't we?
Yeah, because I used to see what you were posting, Kev, and I was like, yeah, no way, I was all over it, you know what I mean?
Because like we said on the first one, wasn't it? People used to look at us going, what are they even on about?
Yeah.
And it seemed to be just corresponding at the same time, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I used to wake up in the middle of the night, Kev, and have this urge to go and feed and clothe homeless people. And I was
remember you doing that.
Where does that come from? I haven't got like family who've been affected by it. I haven't took that in mind at all, by the way, right? But I'm constantly seeing this number 96. This number 96 is casing the life out of me, Kev. But me being a Liverpool fan and from the city, I thought it's just synonymous with Liverpool 96 in Hillsborough, you know what I mean? And the radio station 96.7. Kev, it's everywhere. Like harassing me though, you know what I mean? And I'm like, what's all that about? But didn't really give it a conscious thought. But I'm aware. Yeah, I'm aware of it happening. So then I had this desire to go and feed and clothe homeless people. Cut a long story short, I've gone out one night, must have been the arse end of 2014. I've gone out with a load of Al Clobber and just seen some fella, Lance, with this helmet on, and I went, mate, I said, where can I go and give these clothes to people on the streets? And he said, a cold weather shelter's been open because the temperature's dropped that low, and it was a church off by the Women's Aussie. So I've gone there, give them all bits, give them me detail, and said, look, I'd like to volunteer. Is there anything, anything comes up, gives a shout. But I've put it on Facebook, right? As I put it on Facebook, Yvonne's commented on it, Yvonne Bates has commented on it, saying, I know someone where there's a place for you to go out and give, you know, to go and feed and clothe homeless people. And I was like, wow. Only turns out Lynn Higgins' son had just gone away. I didn't know him at this time, Danny, and his space had come available. Another synchronicity, madness,
same
mate.
time, yeah.
So Dan had bailed and left the space. So I got this space with Anthony Carruthers and Paul Kelly. Brilliant. So we went out for the Hope Project. Every night, I can't remember, was it Tuesday or a Thursday night, whatever it was, we went out and fed and clothed homeless people. You know all about it, don't you, Kev?
I remember you doing it.
Through the kitchen sink, had loads of help off, loads of Boss Scouse Mars from C4, doing us all butties, soups, crisps, everything, clobber, Boss. Absolutely bladdered it for a year, didn't I, Kev?
Yeah, I remember it was a proper military style operation every week, wasn't it?
Unbelievable, mate. Scouse Mars rule the world, don't they, mate?
Yeah, and it was, and I've got to be honest, it was probably the first time I'd seen like people doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was and I know you got a lot of support, didn't you? There was
so much
tons
support,
and
mate.
tons of people were blitzing the streets, weren't you?
Yeah, so much support, Kev,
and also at that time you were jumping in with an hour for others, wasn't you? You'd helped me a few times as well, hadn't you?
Yeah, we done the chairs, we painted the WEC as well. We painted
the
room in
WEC, the Caradoc, we done
Kids'
some painting
bikes.
there, didn't we?
Yeah, the Caradoc, that our fella's home in, I can't remember where it was.
Because you were on a mission, weren't you? You were like proper like...
I was proper on a mission.
The two of us were, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were like, you know, you were doing what you were doing with the homeless situation, doing a lot in Seaforth. I was pushing the hour for others, was getting that going. You were jumping in with that. I was trying to help you every now and again with what you were doing and that.
Yeah, it was Boss, Kev, weren't it? We were just on the same, like, wavelength, mate, and I was loving what you were doing. It was just from afar watching it and little bits of help. I was loving it, mate. But when you said on a mission, mate.
Yeah, and again, you touched on it. You got this like energy, this drive from somewhere to do it, and I was the same. It was, and I still am to this day.
Where it come from, Kev?
There's something outside of us,
100%
which is like you start to become in this alignment to what you're here for, and you just know, and you can't put it into words. It's an intuition.
Yeah,
it's wisdom. It's knowledge.
For me, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's what it is for me.
It's there, isn't it? It's
100%.
Everything is this energy, and this was could probably be something that we could talk to for about 5 hours in itself, couldn't we?
Yeah, definitely. I made up, you said, on a mission then, because that's exactly what it was, Kev. And towards the end of like 2015, mate, do you remember when I took the Romanian guy off the street, Costa?
I do, yeah.
And
you put your heart and soul into him, didn't you?
Because I'm one of them people that goes all in, and it's wrong, Kev. I go all in, I give it all. And what happens was, through the kitchen sink, our daddy couldn't even speak English.
He broke down to you, didn't he, begging you for work?
Yeah, he was the only person on the street throughout the whole year that, when I asked him did he want anything, he said the job.
Yeah.
The only person. Everyone else had just like, they'd take butties, they'd take food, they'd take soup, drinks, clobber. He just said, can you get me a job? So through the kitchen sink, had a Kev, and had loads of help off loads of people, Anthony and Paul, everyone. And it got to like Christmas, mate, and I burnt myself out, mate. Completely burnt myself out, mate. I gave everything I had, Kev. And just before Christmas, he spewed his job and that, didn't he? Loads of mad synchronicities. The girl I was with at the time, mate, she done everything for me, absolutely everything for me, backed me to death with him. It was unbelievable what she done, and he just spewed it, and there was nothing I could do, Kev. It was right before Christmas. I was 6 months in rent arrears at this point, mate. Absolutely on my arse, because that going out and feeding, clothing homeless turned into a full-time job for me. Collections and stuff like that. I weren't going to a central donation bank. I was doing it all myself.
Because you become the centre point of like people wanting to help. And it's hard, isn't it? Yeah.
And then when that happened, that Christmas, Kev, which was horrible, Ian Oban and that from the match had all whippies for me, keeping them in bed and breakfast. All the lads proper chipped in. And I burnt myself out, mate. And I just come away in 2015, mate, and I just said, never again. Never again, I can't. And then I popped back up with little fundraisers here and there and things like that, but I couldn't go all in the way I did. I couldn't go all in, mate, because I had nothing, Kev. I felt empty. I'd emptied the tank. I'd emptied the tank, mate. I've missed a load of stuff out there. Probably struggling on time here, aren't we? Are we? I'll fast forward it now. I've missed so much. Sorry, mate. I've missed so much out there, mate. Even that relationship that I was in at that time when I was doing the homeless thing, I absolutely destroyed that. That's something that I now carry pure shame and guilt over. Bad. She was unbelievable to me, mate, and I fucking destroyed that relationship. That proper hurts me still, that. Like, I would treat people, Kev, do you know what I mean? Then 2015, like I say, I come away. I was 6 months in rent arrears, couldn't pay me fucking bills, ended up growing weed in the house. So I'm going through all this change, right? And my own life is still not properly changing, but I'm having this awakening. I'm doing all this. I'm like at the top of the, what's it called? The hierarchy of needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Doing all the self-actualization and everything else is fucked. I'm doing all that, thinking I can...
Your foundations are everywhere.
Destroyed, you know what I mean? I'm giving out of an empty cup. My cup's completely empty, but I'm trying to give everyone. And it just didn't work. So I ended up doing a growing ours. Does it, gets rid of it, squashes all bills and all that. Plod turn up at ours about a month later for someone else. I'm with our Poppy in the living room. As I've walked in the living room, I picked Poppy up and a yellow bass pulled up outside. I've got the blinds wide open and the bassies looked at me. So he knows I'm in the house. So I thought, shit, I've got all that upstairs. Nothing's happening, but it's all still set up. Banging on the door. So I didn't open the door. The house stunk of weed. He's gone through next doors, jumped over me back. And was with our Poppy in the kitchen. Now he's looking at me through the kitchen window. He went, what are you doing? And I went, no, go away. He went, what are you doing? Open your door. And I went, nah. And he went, open your door. Blah, blah, can't remember what name he said. And I went, who? And he said the name. And I went, I'm not him. And he went, prove it. So I got my passport out the drawer. Bang, put it on the window. And he was like, give me it. So I opened the window and just dropped it out because it stunk of weed, you know what I mean? So he's looking at the passport and looking at me. And he's like, bailed. So I'm watching them all in the front garden now. It's going on that long, Kev. He just turned the back on the house. So I've walked. I should have just shut the blinds. I've walked in the living room with Poppy. I had something in the house that I shouldn't have had. All this around your kids, you know what I mean? I'm upstairs in the loft, bang, stashes. Rings the baby's mum and said, look, there's pure busies outside the house. I've got the baby. I know, like, I understand common law. They haven't come for me. They've got no warrant. They can't come in. But look, just come up. When they bail, I'll come out with Poppy and that. Fuck, Kev, it's horrible. It makes me sick thinking of it, mate. Snapped my SIM card up off the phone that I wanted snapped up. Still had my personal number. So the baby's ma's turned up, seen all, there was about 10 busy cars outside, Kev, and all that. She's turned up and flapped it, which rightly so, you know what I mean? Yeah. You don't want that, do you, around your kids? And she had every right to do. She banged on my door, like, I want the baby. So next thing, it's like, it's turned into like it's a hostage thing and all that, Kev. Mad. Wow. So the busy's shouting up, like, get the baby out the house. So I'm fucking ringing her, saying, put him on the phone now. So I'm looking at this busy in my bedroom window. I went, you cheeky cunt, it's my baby. You have knocked on our house. Kev, I end up having murder. In the end, I just thought, I can't do this. It's strong, innit? You know what I mean? So I just opened the door. Sorry. They come flying in. They've gone upstairs and they were like, is that it? They were like, I thought like you had a dead body or something in the house the way you've carried on. I was like, see, there's nothing. But it was just like a setup and that. She got off with the baby. I've been nicked for it. Got community service, but a couple of weeks later, Kev, this is where my life proper changed, mate. A couple of weeks later, I'm in the bath and our Poppy runs in. She goes, Dad, police in the garden. She only 2. So I've jumped up, looked, and they weren't. And she remembered it. It was just literally trauma. That is it. That was the moment. Years of crime, mate. And I went, bang, 2015, never again. And I just changed like that, Kev. Wow. Just put everything into the window cleaner, mate. Yeah. And I haven't got a great deal of money, mate, you know what I mean? I haven't got anything really. But I've got a clear conscience, mate, and it's a comfy pillar. And I work hard. I'm a good role model to my kids. 1,000,000% you are. Yeah. To all kids. And it ended there, 2015, in that bathroom. I said, never again. I never thought I could break it, Kev. It took 17 fucking years, do you know what I mean? And seeing her little face, and I said, no. Because I weren't brought up like that. That was never me. but I just got lost so far, you know what I
That
mean?
was Poppy's way, weren't it? Of like, all that trauma you'd carried as a kid and you never said nothing. That was her little... she just got it out, didn't she? And
got it out,
the
mate.
effect that it had.
Everything. And then, like I say, I burnt myself out that year, Kev. So I went away for years, met Shannon, got an unbelievable girlfriend again. Boss, backs me to death.
She's great,
She's
Shannon.
amazing. I love the bones of her, mate. And she's fully on board with everything that we do. And she's just boss, mate. I've met her, everything's going great, mate. And everything's boss. And 2020, I'll wrap this up now, sorry. So 2020, in 2015, do you remember me, you, Kev, Will Simon Sony and Liam sat down?
Yeah.
We were going to rock the city, weren't we?
Yeah.
So we had this vision of love bombing the city with tunes, didn't we, and music and doing boss things. I'd burnt myself out, come away, being humbled, put back in my lane, you know what I mean? God's just gone, pack it in your blade, get back in your lane. I'll have just burnt myself out. And 2020, I've seen Mark Carl doing the litter pick with all these tunes on. And I've seen it on Instagram and I've gone, the best ever. And I've gone, that's what we wanted to do in 2015, innit?
Yeah, when we met.
To blitz the city with music. But I never visualised it as a litter pick. So Mark Carl just sparked that fire. He doesn't even know this. Nice one, Mark. Yeah. Sparked the fire in me again. And I was just like, wow. Next thing, that 96 is casing me again, Kev. It's all over me. It's casing me. So I'm doing the litter picks. I'm involved with Andrew with a sense of community, doing all these boss things. Speaking to you, wasn't I, Kev, a lot? Yeah. Every day, probably for the last 2 years. Yeah,
and also inspiring people. There's a lot you've not said.
I've missed loads.
There's a lot you've not said of you know you inspire people because you've told your story there from the early days, but you've developed so much knowledge, you know, over the years, and the way your mind works and where things went wrong and the way you can change. And I know your words are so powerful with people, and you know, I know that you've done some crazy things. Like I know it wasn't only last year when you had your little blitz, didn't you, where you were challenging yourself, and you decided one day you were rained off work, weren't you? And you went and done a marathon, 26 miles. Yeah. And where did you end the marathon?
On my dad's grave, weren't I?
Yeah, which was like...
Yeah.
Which is, you know, you've been to hell, haven't you?
I've been to hell, mate.
And mate, you are now 1,000,000% on the other side of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Even like the 96, I'll just finish on this, Kev, because it's powerful. It started showing up with the litter picks, didn't it? So it was casing me. So I put a tweet out on Twitter. This is madness, mate. This number is insane. I put a tweet out about the city and about the attitude of people in the city that I believe needs addressing. Got retweeted 96 times and ended on 96. So I had a conversation with our Chrissy. He was doing his windows in Barclay Drive, my dad's brother. So I said, Chrissy, I said, like, tell him about this number. He was like, all these synchronicities, same happened with me, John. I said, look, I think I'm here to teach kids. This is 2020. I think I'm here to teach kids. Goes home that night, Kev. Check Twitter. I don't know why. I just thought, I'm going to look at this tweet. Something with this 96. And it gone down to 95 as if someone had, like, I don't know, chipped their account or something. So I Googled fucking angel number 95. And I'd been speaking to Chrissy in the day. And it was like, this is your sole purpose, your intuition, and the questions that you're asking basically is, that's the path. That's where you need to be going with the kids and stuff like that. And I was just like, I felt this presence come over me, Kev. It was, I burst out crying. I dropped my phone and burst out crying. My dad died 95 and all that. And I was just like, I felt protected, mate. And the feeling that I felt, that it was just the best feeling in the world. And then the last 2 years, it's been madness, but it's been great for us, hasn't it? We've thrived. And then again with the 96, I go to see our Chrissy again just before Christmas. I'm about to wrap up now, sorry about this. I go to see our Chrissy, and he's setting his church up with like for Christmas dinner for everyone and stuff like that. So it gives him a hand with all the chairs. Tells this woman this half of this story that I've told on here today, and blew her head off. And she was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. Goes out the van, and I bought a hat that day, and I checked the receipt, right? And it was £9.60, the hat. This 96, guys, case me everywhere, get on this. Kevin rang me as I'm looking at the receipt. Look, mate, we want you working with us. We want you working with us. you need to be on board. I'm going to offer you a job and that. And I was like, well, I couldn't believe it. Because the number 96, when you Google it, is about your soul mission, what you're here to do. It's speaking to me all the time, right? So fast forward to just a couple of weeks ago, Kev, when I first come in here, weren't it? I said a prayer, mate, and I said, just show me a sign today that I'm on the right path. I'm going to work for now for others part-time. Show me a sign that I'm on the right path. I need to know this is where I'm going. Show me a sign. Get on this, walks in here, guys, yeah? As it walks in, that's, I don't know what, you can't see it on the camera, can you? But that's Jill's desk, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's Kev's, this is Susie's. And that was going to be where I'd sit, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's that on the wall there? It's fucked up, isn't it?
That's crazy.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
Following you, isn't it? Everywhere.
It's been following me everywhere, mate.
And
it's gone again now because I feel like I'm here, you know what I mean?
And without doubt, your experiences, everything you've been through in life, it, you know, was for this moment, was to all of that. Everything, all of them, you know, as a kid, all that trauma that you went through, you know, to make that, you know, to understand that, to then give that back, to help, to inspire is your reason.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, university-wise, I don't think anyone could go to university, could they? I don't think anybody could, like, you couldn't teach what you've learned, could you? No. The lessons of life that you've had, the harsh lessons of being to hell, you know, to try and make sense of why you were involved in crime, to try and make sense of what happened when you know, you lost so many people when you at such a young age. You can't teach that. It can't be taught. You've lived it. And that's why you're here on this earth, is to help kids who are in that position and to help people and support people. And I know you do it. You've done it for a number of years. And I know in the future that is your role, mate.
Yeah, it is 100%.
And I'm dead proud of you to sit here.
Nice one,
and to sit here and you know, to open up and say everything you've said. It takes a lot. And I believe that this world now, it's heading in that direction where we've got to start being true to ourselves, being honest, being open, saying this is who I was, this is who I am now. You know, that was me darkness, and we've all got a darkness, all of us, and too many people deny that they've got a dark side, but we've all got it. Some of us have just been in it, you know, like yourself, as been in it for a long time, and you've explored it, you've seen the worst of it, and you're out the other side now, do you know what I mean? But it was who you were. 100%. So why hide it? It's, you know, it was lessons, and this is where you are now today.
It's mad, Kev, because I went decades, mate, without any awareness, and I blamed everyone else. Everyone was on my blame list apart from me, and I took no accountability, mate, and I was putting all my insecurities and all my bullshit on everyone else. Every relationship I've been in apart from this one, I've destroyed, mate. I've been a little bastard, I've been angry, I've been violent at times, and that's hard to admit, Kev. I've been a little shit, just an angry, fucked up kid. But, you know, heal the kid and the man will show up. Yeah. That's where I'm at now, mate. And it took me years to get on it, Kev. I had to go the mirror, mate. And throughout all the chaos and throughout all the fucked up relationships and throughout all the pain, the trauma, there was the common denominator was me. And it was me who was always there. And I had to have a look at myself and go, you're a bellend. Sort your life out. And I only done that in 2015, mate. And took full accountability. And it's been, 7 years now. And you've just got to own your shit, mate. And there's loads I've missed out, mate. I've got loads of shame, loads of guilt. Some of the horrible things I've done horrible things. But look, that's me throwing dirt all over myself. Mate, if I was a product on a computer now and you're looking at reviews, there's probably 250 good reviews to every one bad, and I mean that, Kev. Yeah. Not a bad, you know, I know you're not there. Do you know what I mean? I've done a lot for people. I'm not sitting here telling all my good stuff. I've just threw dirt all over myself. Do you know what I mean? It's like, own your shit, innit? Exactly, own your shit. You've been through it. You know, it was part of your journey. It was part of your... There's a difference if you carry on doing it and you're not learning, but so many people do learn. Do you know what I mean? But a lot of people don't get the opportunity, really, do they, to sort of... to be able... You know, this world's too quick to judge people and to slam people down. And so that's who they are. And they don't know who you are, do you know what I mean? You know who you are, and you can stand there and say, you know, I've looked myself in the mirror, that was who I am, this is who I am now. Yeah. that woman in 2003, Lynn, who I absolutely adore, who's an angel to me and always will be, she knew the goodness, you know what I mean? She's seen it, and she didn't judge me. And I was seeing her niece. She could have just abandoned me because I weren't the best version of myself. I wasn't a man. I was a fucked up boy. And she showed me pure love, mate, and she never judged, and that lives on in me still now. You know what I mean? That's what, 19 years ago. That lives on in me strong now, what she done for me, mate. And it's them moments, even going back to dead quick. I done a random act of kindness thing, Kevin, 2020. And that was because the guy in 1996, that was 24 years later. 24 years later, that energy and
24 years to go.
He showed to me, mate.
There's so many, do you know, we could probably talk for another 2 hours, but we'll wrap it up now. But
sorry, Gary, lad.
There's so many. Gary's got his pyjamas on there.
Gary fucked off an hour ago.
No, you talked that long, the battery fucking died, you had to change the battery.
Lad, I could do a 10-parter.
Yeah, part 2, Toddy next week, innit?
Do you know what, though, to be honest, before I forget, there's so many lessons to be learnt in your story. There's so much to take from this, to give to the community, to give to people, to say, you know, where are the lessons we can learn from this? You know, there's so much valuable information in that, Toddy, and thank you so much for sitting there and opening up, and of all the things you opened up about, I can't believe he was a Man United fan.
Take that out!
Fucking Toddy gonna social over there.
Top bank, mate. Thank you very much, Kev. Cheers,
Nice one.
mate.
Nice one, Gary.
Nice one, Gary, lad.